All right, and welcome to another episode of the Jumping the Rail podcast. This is Mark Redmond coming to you from the Noodles position in Champaign, Illinois. Joined as always by my buddy Minderz. Minderz, how are we doing today?
We're doing all right. Getting a little nervous, but it'll be all right.
Yeah. Nervous about our upcoming guest or about your upcoming procedures that we're looking forward to?
Both. So excited of our guest. But yeah, foot
Yes,
surgery next week. So, and hopefully I'll
yeah,
be back the following week. So we'll
you'll
see.
be ship shape. Yeah. Yep. We're
Well, I'll be in some sort of
for
shape.
well, yeah. You may be a dinghy. You never know. I'm sitting here
Yeah.
watching my producer Noodles just making a general fuss down here, guy trying to distract me. It's not going to work, Noodles. It's
Well, it kind of
but
is
by
because you're paying
yeah,
attention to the
by saying
cat.
that, yeah, I need to look as hard as it is. Look away from the kitty.
Focus.
I gotta focus. We got
Focus.
quite a bit to talk about today, Menders. First off, I suppose we should mention who we've got is going to be joining us today for a chat. It's one of you. It's you got this one lined up, Menders.
I
So
did.
I'm gonna let you tell the audience who's coming.
Our guest today will be the Black Diamond Ace Perry, which we got to see in action this weekend. So I'm super
Uh-huh.
excited.
Yeah. We
But
made the
I've
trip
been
out
following
to.
Ace. Let's see. I've been following Ace since 2019. So
Cool.
he's a lot of fun. He's
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Yep. We made it out to Terre Haute this past Saturday for Hybrid Championship Wrestling, and Ace earned
I
a
got yelled at.
briefcase. You got yelled at by several people.
I
More
did.
than yeah, but
More than
really
just the
good show.
wrestlers. I got yelled at by some security guards, and
Ah,
I
you
didn't even have
always.
my spoon.
I
I
know
don't know
you.
what the deal was.
You stirred the pot without the spoon. Uh, but no, this is a really fun show though. We had some old favorites of ours popped up out of nowhere. We didn't expect Tanner Keeler, one of our 0-1 guys, to pop up in the opening match on that show. Uh,
Man, we all popped for him when he came out.
we
I
all
was so
popped.
excited.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We wound up being big winners ourselves on Saturday Menders, whether it
Yep,
was
we sure did.
controversially or not.
Well, they're
We
saying it's
we
controversial, but
it was a coincidence. So who are we kidding? It was
well, hey, the other little kid picked your ticket out.
That's
So,
true. Yeah, I'm free and clear. I got my fair and square. But
yeah, I'm the one that's the controversial one. Hold on, I'm going to find the picture and put it up. So, we made it a big deal to make sure this kid got to draw a ticket that day or that night. Lo
shout
and
out to Lincoln.
behold, shout out to Lincoln. Lo and behold, he drew my ticket. So, so, well, the only thing that does though is just makes it that he gets to go to the next show with me. I'll get him in with my ticket. So
Little kickback there. We
a
both
little
won two
kickback.
free tickets apiece for the next hybrid show. I suppose I have to take the wife. I'm gonna take the wife. She's wanted to come anyway. And then out of
Right.
the goodness of your heart, you bequeathed your second ticket to young Lincoln there, and he's
As
gonna
long as
get in
Lincoln
for
can make it. So
as long as he
yep.
can make it. If not, then one of the
Yep.
boys will get it.
I'll let them take the tickets and I'll pay for mine. Who
Oh
knows?
yeah, that works. But yeah, hybrid in Terre Haute is a lot of fun. I love the venue they use. They use that little sports complex with the astroturf and everything, and legitimate concessions, which is a nice plus. A lot of
Yep.
indie shows they just have chips and candy bars and all that stuff. I know 0-1 they do pizza, they do all that, do some good
Hmm.
stuff there. But the building that they use for hybrid has like a legitimate like kitchen. They do like wings and mozzarella sticks and all kinds of good stuff there. So
Shout out to
if
Strive 365. Shout
yes,
out to
yes,
Strive 365.
yes, they do. They have a great operation over there. We're gonna be back in Terre Haute for 0-1 in a couple weeks there, Minderz. Uh,
Next week,
yeah, is it next? Yeah, a week from Saturday.
a
Uh,
week from Saturday.
yeah, we're gonna be wheeling you in there, and
Probably have a
but
fun cast for everybody to sign at that one.
yeah,
So
there you go. But yeah, Zero One's first show in Terre Haute. It's gonna be a lot of fun matches. We'll talk about that stuff tomorrow though on the Zero One shootout. And
And we're gonna talk. We might talk a little bit about it tonight, just because
yeah, well,
Ace has some experiences with some of the guys that I think are going to be on the show. So,
that's very true. That's very true. Uh, so while we're waiting on our guest, I'm gonna mention uh, we put something out on Facebook last week. It was based on a discussion I saw Bully Ray having on Twitter about tag team wrestling. And hold on, make
hmm
sure I get the post up here so I can read it properly. And it there it is. And Bully got quite a bit of input from his fan base on there. So I kind of tweaked it. He put out his list of greatest tag team, all time favorite tag team, uh, greatest current, all that kind of stuff. So I put this little questionnaire here on our Facebook page, and we got a few comments, but we haven't weighed in yet, Minderz. It's just been we've kind of held our tongue until the actual show so we could do it on the air. But I want to share some of the comments before we get there. AJ, our
yeah,
buddy,
let's do that.
our head researcher, AJ,
Yep,
chimed in. He said greatest tag team in WWE history is DX. I'm assuming he means Shawn and Hunter. Uh, then he said DX if we're talking numbers, longevity, drawing money in different eras, and being a WWE created household name. If we're talking in ring, probably the Hart Foundation. So DX for the Hearts, not a bad call there. Greatest tag team of all time, like spanning all territories. He goes with the Dudleys. 20 some odd tag team titles. Can't go wrong with that. Greatest tag team in
right,
WWE currently, the Usos. It's kind of a no-brainer there. Greatest tag team in wrestling currently, FTR, and also his favorite current tag team is FTR, and his all-time favorite tag team is the Hardys. Uh, well, give you the Hardys
he was
when they
going
were.
so good for a while.
Hey, I'll give you the Hardys in the early 2000s. There could
Okay,
be a case made there. All right, our
there
buddy
can be.
Keith Gibson from the Clubhouse Lounge Radio chimed in also. He's more closer to our age, Mender, so I think it'll be a little bit more.
His were a little more closer to my heart, but yeah,
Right, right. So greatest tag team in WWE history, he says the Usos, which is a heck of a statement for the entire history of the company. Greatest tag
yeah,
team of all time, he says the Road Warriors. Greatest tag team in WWE currently, he says Street Profits, which made me scratch my head a little bit. I like the Street Profits, but I don't know. They've been kind of in a bit of a downward spiral a little bit lately, so that's why he kind of surprised me when he went with them. Greatest tag team in wrestling currently, he went FTR. Favorite current tag team, his favorite is the Acclaimed. So, they've got their fan base for sure. They might be short one daddy ass after Saturday, but that's
yeah. That's what I
another.
saw. We'll talk. We can
Yeah,
talk about that later.
yeah. And then his all-time favorite tag team, he's got the Fabulous Freebirds, which gotta love the Freebirds.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Then one more, Dwayne Carter, our buddy Dwayne, hasn't been in the chat very much lately, but he made sure to put his 2 cents in here.
Of course he did.
Greatest tag team in WWE history. He says the Hart Foundation. I'm going to ignore the spelling error. I know what he meant. Greatest in WWE currently. He says the Usos. Greatest in wrestling. The Road Warriors. Favorite WWE currently. Kevin and Sammy. Again, I'll ignore the misspelling of Zayn. And then favorite in wrestling currently, the Young Bucks. Now we could kind of we could give Dwayne what for about a couple of those. I choose to be nice. I mean, opinions are opinions, and there is no wrong opinions, so I've been told. But
I'm not so sure about that at times, but
yeah, yeah. All right. So Menders, I'm going to put you on the hot seat here. So I'm going to give you each one and then just one at
okay.
a time here. First, we check and see. Okay. Yeah, just making sure our guest hadn't popped up yet. Uh, let's see. Greatest tag team in WWE history.
We put them in the Hall of Fame. The British Bulldogs are my favorite in tag team history. I mean, they're my favorite. I like Dynamite Kid so much, and Davy Boy. You just I just can't not say they weren't my favorite.
Okay, well, there's all-time favorite, so that's the Bulldogs. Do you put them up as
Okay.
the greatest and greatest also?
I wouldn't go greatest.
Okay, who's your greatest?
I kind of got torn with this one because there's a bunch of them that I can think of,
Hmm.
but probably I'm thinking I might have to agree with AJ actually on this. I think DX was pretty good for a tag team going through, or Edge and Christian was always my favorite when I was in my early 20s. So I could go with any of them.
Okay. Next up, greatest tag team of all time.
I do. I mean, the Road Warriors were so good.
Okay. Greatest tag team in WWE currently.
I mean, the Usos are the obvious answer.
Well,
Um, KO and Sammy, I can understand people's argument there, and I wish they would bring DIY back because if DIY was back, that would
there'll
be
be
my
some
all-time favorite.
there'll be some fun matches out of that with any number of teams on the show right now. Let's
Yeah,
see. Greatest tag team in wrestling currently. I bet I know who you're going to say here.
tough top guys out.
There you go. All right.
Give me my FTR any day, especially
Okay.
after that match they had against um
Gin and Juice.
I was gonna say Jay White and Juice. I was trying to be nice.
Hey, I say it with love because I love that tag team. Uh,
I do too.
favorite current tag team. I'm going to say FTR.
FTR is my favorite current. Yes.
Okay, and then all
Until
time favorite.
DIY comes back.
Uh,
Until
okay,
DIY comes back.
okay, and then all time favorite. You said the Bulldogs. So
Yep.
that's a solid list there. So there's very little I could argue with. So yeah, it's
Oh, there's a lot you could argue with there if you really
well,
wanted to, but
well, if I wanted to, but I'm a nice guy. I don't cause trouble. I'm a I'm a even-tempered podcast host.
till tomorrow night.
Especially on Wednesdays. Uh, all right. So as far as I go, greatest tag team in WWE history. I'm I gotta go, and this might surprise a lot of people. I'm gonna say the New Day. I
I
mean,
would give you
what,
that.
11 or
I would
12
give you
time
that.
tag champs, never split up in 9 years. So I gotta put I love the Dudley Boys. I love Edge and Christian. I love all those great tag teams from when we were kids. But I mean, the success speaks for itself with the New Day. Greatest tag team of all time. I'm agreeing with the Road Warriors. They're not my favorite tag team of all time, but they're definitely the greatest drawing tag team of all time. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, they were top of the card everywhere they went worldwide. So I mean, they gotta be considered greatest tag team of all time. Greatest tag team in W currently, it's definitely the Usos. Uh, if I wasn't gonna say the Usos, I guess the next closest would be Sammy and Kevin. But no, the Usos with the title run they had, being involved in that Bloodline story. Now Jay's got a title shot at SummerSlam. It's them easy. Greatest tag team in wrestling currently. I'm I gotta piggyback. It's FTR. Uh, Everything they do is great. If you haven't watched Collision from the week before last, it
Yeah.
was FTR against Bullet Club Gold. They went 58 minutes, 2 out of 3 falls. It was friggin'
So
fantastic.
good.
Uh, it's at the top of my ballot right now for match of the year, and we're not even to August yet, and I don't
Yeah.
know if there's going to be anything that's going to be able to top it. But we'll get to that in our big year in review episode in December. Uh, let's see. Favorite current tag team. You know, I it's that one's tricky because I love FTR, but then you take some of the teams like from the NWA. There's so many good ones. I'm gonna have to go with. I gotta go Motor City Machine Guns. I've always been a fan in Impact. Right now Shelley's their world champion, but
Right.
for the longest time they've always been one of my favorite tag teams. The stuff they did with the Briscoes back in 2007, 2008 was fantastic. Uh, All-time favorite tag team, I'm saying the Briscoes. Briscoe Brothers was my all-time favorite. Uh, of
That
Jack,
doesn't
Jay and
surprise me
Mark,
at
not
all.
Jack and Jerry. Uh, just man, I had to make sure I clarified because
I knew
that's
who
an
you
option.
meant. I
Well, I
know.
know you did, but I got to clarify for the listeners. See, Barry's in the chat. Hello, buddy. And looks like our guest is in the window there. I can't tell if he's got his video up, but you want to go ahead and bring him in here, Minderz?
Yes. So let's bring on in Ace Perry, the Black Diamond.
All right, let's see.
Hopefully.
Hey, all right, hey Ace, can you hear us?
There
I
he
There
can,
is.
I
he is.
can. Is my video working?
Yeah.
It's there. Yeah, we see you.
Yeah. We see you.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure because my camera and the lighting and everything, and I mean I can't see myself, so
Okay. Well,
Well,
we
can you
can
see
definitely see you.
us?
So you're
okay. I
Can
don't
you
like
see
that I
us?
can't see myself. I can see you guys.
You
all
look
right.
great. Well, here, does this help? Do you want me to put this up all the time so then that way you can see yourself? Does that make it better?
Whatever works, whatever works.
Yeah.
I guess at least you guys can see me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Well,
So
we were just talking earlier.
Mm.
This is the new briefcase holder at Hybrid. We're
Oh
pretty
yeah,
excited
yeah.
about that. So, and then
Yeah.
that match with Aaron, that was a good
Mhm.
one.
Thank you.
Really
Thank
like
you.
the
Yeah.
finish. Really like the finish on that one. Mark, you have any opinions on that?
hey, it was awesome. I was all for it. It's always fun seeing Aaron get his comeuppance, but
That's what I was thinking.
yeah, yeah. So it's a kind of a wonky situation though, because Jeffrey Johns was the holder of the briefcase. He wound up giving it up for personal reasons. Good thoughts to him. So it kind of
Mhm.
shuffled the deck a little bit in hybrid. So they had to change things up a bit. When did you find out that you were in consideration to get that briefcase?
Um, I think when I showed up.
Oh
And
wow.
I got to the building late. The show was at like 6. Me and
Yeah.
Dale Patrick's pulled up at like 5:45,
Oh wow.
and I walked in the door, and the promoter was like, "Hey, we need you to do this, and you're gonna be out there in like 15, 20 minutes. What do you think?" And I was like, all right." So literally, as I walked into the building, 15 minutes before the show started, he was like, "Hey, you're up for this," and I was like, all right, let's do it. Whatever the boss needs.
Yeah, yeah.
As you should be, though.
Hmm.
So I'm curious, who are some of your inspiration getting into the business?
Well, I know it's very common nowadays, and probably based off the way that I dress now, but Jeff Hardy, um,
Mm-hmm.
he's like the number one. Edge, Brian Kendrick, Brian Danielson, um, Austin Aries at the time.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I know. Very, very controversial figure nowadays. Um,
Well, see, that's what we've said before has always been, well, here's the plus side of Austin Aries. It's Austin Aries. Here's the con side of Austin Aries. It's Austin Aries. So
yeah,
that's kind of where we go
yeah,
with it now.
yeah, yeah, and that's fair. Um, there was one or two more, but those are off the top of my head. Those are definitely guys I took from when I was first getting in as well, as far as like how to maybe like conduct myself and like my style and the moves and all that.
I can
Okay.
see that.
Uh,
I can definitely see that.
Now, Ace, for those of our listeners that don't know you that well, when did you break into wrestling? How long you been in the business for?
Well, I started training, um, I believe at the end of March in 2012 and had my first match July 6th of 2012. So a little over 11 years.
Wow. That's more than I thought.
Yeah,
I will.
yeah.
I know. I was telling Mark beforehand. I've been following you since 2019 because the first match
Mm,
I ever saw you in was actually in Champaign at when Iron Spirit was there, and I
yeah.
believe, if memory serves me, I believe you fought Cody Coco Lane, whatever he's going by these days.
Yes. Yeah. One of
So
my favorite
yeah,
matches of that year. Yeah. I believe
yeah.
our first and only match that we've ever had.
Was it
One of
really?
my
Wow.
favorites. Yeah. Yeah. Cody's great. Um, yeah, wow, I don't remember what I was gonna say. But yeah, Cody, I think he's in Japan or just got back from Japan. Not entirely sure.
Well, I've
But
been enjoying the feud on Instagram between him and Dan's dad. So that's always fun. Their little
okay.
bickering back and forth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know they've been riding around together for like all those St. Louis people keep a tight knit group, and I know they've been riding around together for years now. But now I guess your friends become your enemies, and it loops back around, and then you become friends again and frenemies, and blah blah blah. So I'm sure it'll loop back around at some point. But yeah, yeah, people don't think that I've been wrestling as long as I have, which I think is uh, a pro and a con, a good thing and a bad thing. I don't know.
Mhm.
I can understand that. I can totally get that.
Mm,
Because
So
I was gonna say, I've
you
seen you at Iron Spirit. I've seen you at New Wave. I've seen you
mhm.
at 01. I've seen you at New Version. Pretty much any of them that are close. So we always try to make sure we get to. So hybrid, of
And you
course, but yeah.
you guys are based in Illinois?
yeah, we're
Yeah,
in
we're in
Champaign.
Illinois.
Yeah,
Champaign is
Champaign.
basically
Illinois.
our little.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay, okay. So you're kind of right in the middle of everything, within a couple of hours drive here or there, or 3 4 hours
pretty
there.
much. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
We
not
could.
terrible. That's kind of obviously
Yeah,
how it is in Indianapolis. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the sweet spot. We've talked about that before with other people, where we wish that more companies would bring a bigger show to our area because then you got people coming from Indy, from St. Louis, from Chicago. It's kind of like a
yeah,
centralized location. They could really draw a lot. But
absolutely.
hopefully someday, we have
Yeah,
we've had our own local promoter that kind of forgot where he came from and decided to go down south and not come back. But that's a whole different
of
issue.
course,
Uh,
of course.
so you, yeah, uh, it's
Go ahead, Mark.
well, Tony Khan. It's basically
I know Tony Khan. We make fun of him all the time. It's a good
Florida
time.
Tony. He,
Florida
Old
Tony.
TK, old TK.
Yeah.
uh,
What were you gonna say, Mark?
so so you mentioned Dale Patrick's riding in with him. How sore was he after his match on Saturday? He had that hardcore rules match with Dalton Davis, and those
Yeah,
two beat the piss out of each other.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Dale limped to the car, and then we kind of do like a check in, if not immediately after in the locker room, at least like on the way back. And I asked him, how was it? How you feeling? Anything serious? And he was like, just my hip. And I guess they had done like a superplex off like that 10, 12, 15 foot ladder from like the tippy top.
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
And
they did. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I guess that's what kind of did Dale's hip in for the next few days. So he was
Yeah,
limping. Um, so I believe I think did he bleed?
yeah, they did
Yes.
the skewer spot in the middle of the ring, so
They
they
did
were both
the
bleeding
skewer
a little bit.
spot and
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So obviously like his forehead and his hip I know were like the two things that were bothering. But we got some IHOP and that helped it a little bit on the way we went.
food always helps.
It really does.
All right. I want to know then, who are some of the favorites in that? Because I know you, like you said, you're from Indianapolis, so I know you've had some of the bigger names of the indie stars that have been there. I want to know who are some of the ones that you really enjoyed being in the ring with.
That came up like in the Midwest area and are on TV now, you're talking about?
That or just people that are well known in the indies from like GCW or different things like that.
Okay. I mean, I guess I would be remiss if I didn't mention Shotzi Blackheart and the matches I had with her. I really enjoyed the matches I had with Swerve Strickland. Um, Let me see. Man, I can't think. Well, I mean, I always liked Darby's work. Um,
Right.
on it, like any indie show he was ever on. Uh, I mean, it was always incredibly hard to top. You know what I mean? No matter if he was opening the show in the mid card or the semi main or the main. I watched him and Gunther have a probably the best big man little man match I've ever seen ever at an Evolve show. I don't remember
Oh wow.
where
Wow.
it happened at or which Evolve show it was, but it was the best big man little man like David Goliath story I've honestly ever seen. It was incredible. So
Okay. We
Matt
have to
Riddle,
find that match. We have to find that
yes,
match.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
we must see it. I'm looking
yeah.
here.
I think it might
Matt,
have
if it,
happened in 2018,
Looks like there's
2019.
looks like there's one on here on YouTube. Walter versus Darby Allin full match. That's probably it there. But yeah, that'll
Yeah, I
definitely be
believe it
viewed
was
after
their.
we're done here.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
as I
think
say,
that was their only one-on-one. It was incredible.
yeah, it's Evolve.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's it. So yeah, we'll have to check that out.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
because I
um,
because Walter's my
uh,
favorite guy in the business right now. So
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the performances he's been putting on like the last 6 months or so have been incredible. I mean, they've actually, um, given him a chance to perform like he was 10 years ago in WXW in Germany against like Sammy Callahan at like the 16 carat and Tommy End or Malachi Black.
Yeah.
He's been an incredible top tier performer for the last like 12 years, give or take.
yeah, I wondered when he cut weight if that was going to change his style at all, but it really hasn't. He's still just knocking the shit out of people and just
Yeah,
doing what he
yeah, it's made
does.
him more dangerous. Yeah, absolutely.
So we've got some comments in the chat here. Our buddy AJ is chiming in. Says if Zero
Hmm.
One is going to start running shows in Indiana, which they're running Terre Haute in a couple weeks, he says they should bring in Ace versus Joey O'Reilly, and Ace versus Jimmy Carrot. Both sound like they'd be great matches. Uh, it's kind of hard to
Hmm.
argue on either one of those.
Me and Joey have, we wrestled for New Wave one time, probably in like 2017, 2018. I know I've wrestled Joey, probably a few times in my career, but, what was the other guy's name? Jimmy?
Jimmy Carrot.
Jimmy Carrot.
Okay. Okay. Maybe if I saw his face, I can be terrible with names. But yeah, I've been in talks with Zero One since they're taking over like the New Wave Terre Haute area or whatever. So I don't think I'll be on their debut show coming up, but in the future,
Yeah.
maybe me and Jimmy will be able to get in there. But I am in talks
Very
with them.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to throw another one out there. I'd love to see you in the ring with Warhorse because he still pops up every now and then in 01.
And again, for Iron Spirit, our one and only one-on-one match happened in the main event of Iron Spirit. We went like 20 minutes somewhere in Illinois, and I think it was the same year I wrestled Cody Lane in like 2019. Well, another one of my favorites that year
Yeah.
before he really took off. And I
Right.
think we had some matches when he was the Little Viking, um, before he was Warhorse, and
Right.
Frank Wyatt, and he was riding around with, he was teaming with Frank Wyatt, riding around with the Hooligans, and he was the Little
Mm-hmm.
Viking. And my God, I mean, at the
I
time,
remember that.
extremely, it literally lived up to his name. Extremely vicious, just full of, I don't know, like like really young and hungry. Not that he isn't now, because he's really on top of his game now. But man, at the time, like when you're young and hungry like that in the business, you'll just, I mean, for lack of a better term, damn near just kill anyone when you're in the ring with them. You know what I mean? Just to prove
Oh
something,
yeah.
and that's how he was at the time. Very, very intense individual. And then when we wrestled, I mean, he and I like we really pushed each other to the limit because that was our we kind of came up in the business together over the years, shared several locker rooms together, and we finally got the opportunity to compete against one another one on one. Finally, we've been in so many scrambles together, and so we were like, let's go all out because this is the first time, and it may be the last time, or maybe the only time. So we don't know when we're gonna get to do this again. So let's take everything we've learned over the last several years and just throw it at each other. And it was awesome. I really liked that one. Not to toot my own
You
horn or
actually,
anything like that, but when you're in
that's
there
all
with
right.
someone that's very like-minded and they want to, they're of the same level as you, you just, I don't know. I mean, I give it my all no matter what, but when you're in there with someone like a Warhorse or a Cody Lane or whatever, I mean, cliche, but cliche for a reason. Sky's the limit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's got that
Hey,
one
Mark, do you
guy
have
that
some
just makes
names?
you go just ratchet up just a little bit there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mark, y'all throw some
What's that?
names out. We'll do like a little name reference, and we'll some indie guys from around. I kind of like to get Ace's take on it, just for the simple fact that a lot of the Indiana people. I mean, we're starting to get to know more of them, but there's a
Right.
lot of them
Hmm.
that we don't know very well. So
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I've got
okay. Well, I'll
one.
start off.
Because
I've got
go ahead.
I got one I'd love to throw out. I just saw him for the first time at the Iron Spirit show at City Center a couple months ago, and that's Solomon Tupu.
Solomon, I like Solomon, and we wrestled one time at New Wave, um, when they were having like some tapings because the shutdowns had happened, and I had like 4 or 5 matches that day, but Solomon was one of them, and he was the current New Wave Pro champ. And Solomon, he's young, he's from Black and Brave, so he's good, he has potential, but like, and he's just starting to like really like find himself or a chapter of himself, especially character wise. His in-ring work is solid, but he has potential to be like a Jacob Fatu. So
Wow.
I like Solomon.
Yeah. Yeah. I love his
Mark
style.
this
I
too.
love the house fight style. So,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
right.
yeah. So Solomon's cool. He's a cool dude.
Yeah. All right, Minderz, who you
All
got?
right, I got another name for you because I know these are some people that I know you've had matches with. So I kind of want to throw these names out there and see. Matt
Yeah.
Fitchett.
Oh man, me and Matt Fitchett. I mean, we've known each other for years. Probably 2013 or 2014. That's when the first time like we got in the ring together. Love his personality, his attitude, his work ethic, and his in-ring work. We only had one match at 0-1, I believe, like a year ago. Um,
You did. I was there. I think I was the only one that, as soon as your music played, I popped really loud, and everybody was like, "Who? Who? Who?" I was like, "No,
yeah, that
you
was like
don't.
a
I'm
last
kidding."
second come together type of thing, as well. I was filling in. I don't remember who for, but yeah, Matt Fitchett. I love Matt Fitchett. Um, yeah, yeah. So Matt Fitchett, he's great. He's an OG indie guy of the Midwest, like a
Yeah.
legend, dare I say. I hope he doesn't see this.
I had Matt Beddington too.
Matt Bennington. That sounds familiar. I'm terrible with names. Can be. Matt
Well,
Bennington.
let's see. He used to be Aaron Atlas's partner when they were the Tart Foundation.
Oh, Matt Brannigan.
Brannigan. Sorry, I said it wrong. I screwed it up. Go figure.
Matt Brannigan. Me and Matt Brannigan go way back, even, I mean, probably to like, around 2012 when I really started traveling out to Rockstar Pro in Dayton, Ohio, if you guys remember them or are familiar.
Okay.
That's where me and Matt Brannigan met. And I mean, we've been essentially friends ever since. We still banter like every other day online. He's great, and the matches I've had with him, I mean, I'd put up there with the ones I've mentioned like Warhorse and Cody Lane, Shotzi. I really like Matt. He's a goof.
He is a goof,
I, s-
and I think that's
I
why
saw
we kind of all like him too.
Yeah, of course.
he
Yeah,
had
he's finally just being himself, and it's working out. I'm happy for
Yeah.
him.
yeah I saw him have a match with Aldis at the Expo in Indianapolis.
Hmm.
I think was it this past year,
Oh
Minderz?
wow.
No,
And
it was
it
the
was a
year
hell of a
before.
match.
I
It was
think
the
it
year
was,
before because
yeah.
I remember seeing it. All the months kind of run together for me, but I distinctly remember him being in the
Oh
ring
yeah.
with Aldis and had a hell of a match.
Wow. Yeah.
Uh,
I didn't know that.
yeah,
Doesn't surprise me though.
yeah, yeah.
So
Hey,
here's a local guy for you. A local guy. I'm gonna go with Braden Lee. I want to hear about Braden Lee.
Braden
I
Lee,
believe you
um,
tag team with him at Iron Spirit.
our one and only, well, second tag match we'd ever had actually. Um, yeah, Braden. I mean, he came from New Era Wrestling Academy in Shelbyville, Indiana. Very small company, smaller town, and he started coming around probably around 2018 or 2019, and I was hearing a lot about him, and people were like, "Oh, he's the new like pretty boy, flippy guy, like all this stuff." And so, can you wrestle him and teach him some things and this and that? And me and Braden eventually started traveling together and developed a pretty close friendship. Um, I went to his wedding, all that stuff. He's a really great guy, and uh, I really enjoy his style of wrestling. He has a great mind for the business as well, being mentored by Alex Shelley and all that. Um, but me and Braden are actually wrestling this Saturday, I believe, at Wrestle Arts for the 118th time. And uh, I actually just cut a promo on him talking about how our, you know, friendship, like earlier, as I was saying, enemies become friends, friends become enemies, and we're kind of like in a lull right now. And we're gonna air some of that out this Saturday. But yeah, very I like Braden, great guy, great wrestler. Right now we're not on the best of terms, but that's kind of all I'll say.
Hey,
okay.
Mark, you want to bring up that one from AJ that he had a few names
Yeah,
to throw out
yeah.
there?
He's got a few names to throw it at you, so I'll throw them out one at a time. Uber Minch, Nate Matthews.
Oh, yeah. Nate, I like Nate. Um, he has Nate is Nate's great. He also has like a lot of potential that he needs to capitalize on very soon. He has like again, great wrestler, great guy, means well, but man, like he's like so close to like breaking through to the next level. Like overall, like performance wise, in ring wise, character wise, he's right there. He's at like this glass ceiling, like this plateau, and I don't know what he needs, but he needs something in order to break through that to get to the next step and perform at the level that I know he can.
Yeah.
So he can be better. He's great. He can be better.
Okay.
Mark, you got to see him at the expo. He was at the expo this year. Ubermensch was.
Yeah, he was.
He fought on Friday night. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right for the Black Label Pro Show.
Hmm.
Let's see. The next name AJ threw out there, Ace, is Gary J.
Man, all these guys I've known, like I'm just now realizing I've known forever. Gary J.
Ever.
Yeah. I had one of my first breakout performances against Gary J at IWA Mid South in 2014, I believe it
Oh
was.
wow.
And I know um, IWA and Ian Rotten are kind of like no more and this and that and the other. But at the
Right.
time,
It is what it is.
uh,
But
yeah. At the time, Ian Rotten because the week before, the guy I was teaming with, Caden Sade, we wrestled the Hooligans, and we were going to be like the flippy tag team, the new flippy tag team of IWA. But in our first tag match against the Hooligans, which was, I mean, they carried us through that. It was great because of them. Caden Say did a 630 and landed on his head, unfortunately, and it put him out for about 6 months or so.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
maybe a full year. He almost broke his neck,
Wow.
severe concussion. So that was our first tag match, and Ian was like, "Well, I mean, just have this one-on-one with Gary J. I know he can drag you through it until I figure out what to do with you." And Gary J, because of Gary J, it was great. Breakout performance for myself, and Ian was like, "Oh, well, we'll put you on this singles run." And I was like, "I don't really know what I'm doing." He was like, "You'll be fine." So because of Gary J, I was able to feud with Jimmy Jacobs and do all of these things in
Nice.
IWA because of Gary J. And we didn't have a one-on-one match since 2014 up until Hybrid in Terre Haute, like last year. And I love Gary J's mindset. Same thing that I was saying about Matt Fitchett. Work ethic, in-ring work, great guy, hits hard. I love it. I love it. Gary J, great.
Hey, Mark, I got in
Well,
trouble at that hybrid show. Go
oh, did
figure.
you?
I did.
Well, I'll tell you. IWA was kind of my home indie when I was living up in Aurora about 10 years ago. Actually, longer than 10
Yeah,
years
yeah.
ago, like '07 to '09, basically. So I saw,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody has their 2 cents about Ian as a businessman, but he brought in some damn good talent, especially in that junior heavyweight division for quite a few years. Because he had like your like Dingo and Jimmy Jacobs, Jason Hades. I don't know if you remember him or not. Was his
Yeah.
junior heavyweight champion for a while, and
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, he always the shows were so fun because of those guys. I saw a match Dingo had with Hades that got them both invited to the TPI on the spot and on one show. So,
Yeah.
but that's
Yeah.
just
Yeah. And he's always had a good eye for talent. But
Yep.
that's kind of all I'll say because I know
right.
how everyone is. But he gave
But
me
yeah,
my first break, and he's always had a good eye for talent. And yeah, those IWA shows, some of them, if not half of them, always banged in their own way, you know.
right. Uh, all right. AJ had one more name on here. Anakin Murphy. I don't know if you know him or not.
Yeah, yeah. Me and Anakin had an
He-
extensive feud at New Wave, and
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
you know,
I
like
was like, yeah, he knows who Anakin is. He knows.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We had an extensive, and he's a protege of Matt Fitchett, Davey Vega, those guys, Gary J. Uh, Me and Anakin, I don't remember, like, was it a year ago or I think our
It was,
feud lasted a year, like 2021 into 2022.
that
Um,
sounds right. Yeah.
but yeah, Anakin, he's starting to travel a lot more, and ever since kind of linking up with Gary J and Matt Fitchett and those guys, he's starting to travel more and really get out there. And we were recently in a match together for Unsanctioned Bro, and he's come a long way. I noticed, like, while we were feuding, he was like really growing, and now since I've seen him recently, I've seen like how much more he has grown. And Anakin is a great guy, but again, he has like so long to go because the potential he has. What I keep going back to, the potential about these guys. If they just stick with it and stay the course that they're on, they can be they're they're solid now, but they can be great if they just stay the course, you know? And Anakin,
Yeah.
he's one of those guys. He's got a pretty good mind overall. And so if he just sticks to what he's doing, he can be, you know, one of those indie guys that we see on TV now or something, you know. He's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you, his brother just started less than 6 months ago, and they've been
Oh,
teaming up quite a bit in 0-1. He's been really impressive. His name's Kenny Calix, and he's
I
got
didn't even know
18
he had a brother.
members. Yeah, I didn't either
He's
till
not
the kid
18
showed
yet.
up at the shows. Oh, he's 17. Okay, but yeah,
He's
Oh
17.
wow.
just really
All
solid. I
right.
mean, they're teaming up. They're doing the tag team thing
Really good.
in the 0-1. So he's a guy that
That's great.
you ought to check out if you get a chance. I think you'll be impressed by him.
Yeah, wow. I'll have to
Obviously,
teach him a lesson too. Wow, that's crazy.
hey, I don't know if we ever get you out in Mattoon, that'd be a match to see, And we've been known to make
All
things
right.
happen in 0-1, so
Okay. Yeah,
we
yeah,
got a
yeah.
little we got a little
I've
pull
heard.
there.
I've heard.
All
Sweet.
right, well,
Wow.
I'm gonna throw one more name. Uh,
Mm.
and I feel like I'm throwing a lot of guys that I've seen in 0-1 because that's my main indie I go to, but he also works hybrid.
Mm.
The Cobra, Elite
Oh
Warrior,
man.
scariest man in the
Yeah.
business.
I'm not entirely familiar like with his work or like when he started or anything like that. I think me and him actually had a match um years ago somewhere. Uh that so he wrestled Josh Crane and Sage Phillips in a three-way at one of the latest
That's a couple months ago, yeah.
HCW
Yeah.
shows.
Yes.
And I ran into him in the locker room and was like, "Whoa, like I haven't seen you in years, since we wrestled. Man, I wish I write all my matches down so it's somewhere in my notes. But man, I don't remember where it was or how long ago it was. But Josh, he's obviously one of my best friends as well. And I
Yeah.
pulled him aside and I let him know, like, hey, because obviously, like, we know Sage, he kind of like came up with us. We knew him when he was like a camera guy and he was riding around with us before he turned wrestler. So, but I had to pull Josh aside and be like, hey, that Cobra guy, like, watch out. He's pretty cool. You know what I mean? You can do some stuff with him. And I mean, he's a great attitude. And from what I remember, the match that we had, it was difficult to work with him. But when the bell rang, I saw why it was difficult to work with him and why we butted heads. And it made the match that much better. Um, so yeah, he's cool. He's cool.
Put up that comment there, Mark. AJ's little
Oh,
comment.
oh, there you go. Give me Ace Perry
Yeah.
versus the Cobra. Shut up and take my money.
Yeah. Maybe HCW can book it. Yeah,
Right, right. Oh,
I can't
Well,
believe I have
first of
no
all, you need
recollection.
AJ,
Hmm?
first of
what's
all,
that?
you need to get that belt off of Aaron. That's all you need to do. That's what you need to
And
focus
that's the
on first.
goal.
Get that
That's the
focused on
goal.
first.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually have known Aaron and his brother Austin, who you know runs HCW. I've known them since they were 17, before they even like thought about wrestling. So we all worked in a restaurant together somewhere in small town Indiana. So yeah, I've known those guys forever. And now that they're in the business, Aaron specifically has a sense of entitlement. Um, that's natural when you're younger and you're first entering the business, and this, that, and the other. Um, and man, yeah, he's just not the same guy he used to be. And so anytime I'm able to get my hands on Aaron, me or Dale, because Dale trained him. We enjoy smacking him around and trying to knock some sense into him, but it just hasn't worked thus far. And I've wrestled Aaron 4 or 5 times now. Maybe sixth time will be the charm when I cash that in. Who knows?
There you go. I was gonna say at our table. I don't know if you noticed us. I'm sure you probably heard us Saturday night, but at our table we had a 6-year-old that was sitting with us. Little 6-year-old buddy. He's one of my little buddies. But
Mm.
he has me yell at Aaron, "Shut up and retire," at every one of his matches.
Oh wow!
Every one of his matches. We love
Okay.
Lincoln. So,
Wow.
and Lincoln's like, "Will you actually yell it?" "Yeah, I'll yell it. I don't mind. It's fine." No,
Yeah.
everybody hates me anyway. It's fine.
You don't mind pissing people off.
Yeah, I don't mind
That's
making people mad.
hilarious.
It's fine.
Huh.
But
Hey,
yeah.
uh,
So I
hey,
got one more
he
name
offered up
for
a
you.
correction. Hang on, real quick, Minderz. He offered a correction. Kenny Calix is actually Anakin's nephew, not his brother.
Oh
Yeah,
wow. Okay.
but they grew
Whoa.
up as brothers. There's only
Well,
like
yeah,
4 years apart.
it's the Eddie
So
Chavo brotherhood kind of
it's the
thing.
Eddie
But
Chavo situation.
right.
Okay. Wow.
Okay. Sorry.
That's all
Sorry,
right.
Minderz. I'll throw it back to you there.
So I'm throwing out a new wave name that I know that I'm not a huge fan of, but kind of wanted to get your take on him, Ace, and that's ZDP.
Oh man, CDP. I think I'm gonna side with you, but um, because I think he and I had a. Did we ever have a match at New Wave? Do you know?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I feel like he probably interfered in one of your matches or something because that's just him.
Yeah,
Um,
loudmouth, something like that. Um,
yeah.
I mean, we had a match again somewhere in Indiana this past winter for Charlie Cruel. She put together a show, and me and ZDP had a one-on-one match, and he had that dude Baddington guy with him, and he interfered, of course, all that. And I hear he's doing good things in OVW right now. ZDP, I've seen him in the locker room, and he has a similar problem to Aaron in terms of, ego needs to be checked a little bit. But again, back to the potential thing, I think he's holding himself back. And if he were to kick Dude Baddington to the side, I think ZDP could break through several glass ceilings he's put himself under. I think ZDP, deep down somewhere, there's a good guy. But right now, I mean, I don't know. He's really warped and in his own world. And that Dude Baddington guy is just being his yes man. So ZDP, he's all right, I guess. That's what I'll say. And that's all I'll say.
Well,
Okay.
he's got a shot when 0-1 debuts in Terre Haute. He's got a shot at Joey O'Reilly in the heavyweight title there. So you never
Whoa.
know. We might see a lot more of
Yeah.
ZDP in
All
0-1.
right.
So
Well, maybe ixnay everything I say. He could be the new 0-1 heavyweight champ. All right.
No,
Whatever
no,
he's
no,
doing
no.
is, I mean,
No,
all
ZDP
right.
was mean to me on Twitter. ZDP was mean to me on Twitter. So no, he's done. I've
Everyone's
cut
mean
him
on
off.
Twitter.
I'm done.
Yeah.
everybody's been on Twitter. Yeah, it's pretty
It's
true.
kind of true too.
Oh
Go ahead,
man.
Mark.
Well, I don't. We're coming up on about 45 minutes, Ace. We really appreciate you making the time to hang out with us a little bit and talk with us. Uh,
Absolutely. Yeah.
where else are you going to be at? Any upcoming dates you want to throw out there? Where are you
Man.
going to be at?
I know Wrestle Arts this Saturday for sure. You should continue to look at the HCW dates, their upcoming shows. AAW in Chicago. Be sure to look at their shows. I may be popping up back there here soon. Anytime GCW or Circle 6 is kind of in the Midwest area. And also, I do some work with a group named Grap House out in the Vegas area. They're great. Their stuff's on IWTV. I don't have my calendar pulled up next to me, but I know those are a few off the top of my head. So
Okay. Well, I've always got the GCW at the top of my list when they got stuff going on. So
of course, yeah,
I'll definitely be keeping an eye out there. I've been to a few of the shows when they go up to Chicago. So that's another one that's a lot of fun. Just the
very
atmosphere is
rowdy.
so fun.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
almost got
unmatched.
trampled when Nick Gage came out the first time I went.
Yeah, it's part of it.
That's right. It's all part of the fun. All right. Well, Ace, where can folks find you on social media for you?
um, at Ace Perry INDY on Instagram, Twitter, Ace Perry on Facebook. That's pretty much all I use. I don't use Twitter all too much. Mainly Instagram, I would say. So
Okay.
Instagram, Ace Perry INDY.
All right. Minderz, you got anything else you want to throw at it?
Nope, I'm just ready for him to take that belt away from Aaron, and we'll be fine.
Hey, hopefully it'll be on September 9th because we'll be there because we won free tickets.
We will be
Oh,
So
there because
wow.
we won free tickets.
All
Both of
right.
us did.
I
Sick.
did the arm
We both
length
did.
raffle roll of the raffle of 50-50, so it paid off for once. Usually I never win these things, but
Oh, heck yeah. All right. That's sick.
yeah. But we'll definitely see you then for sure. Hopefully sooner than that if Iron Spirit
Yeah.
comes back around, or, So
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
said, thanks a lot for hanging out with us, and we'll let you get out of there and handle whatever you got to handle. But
Yeah, for
we will,
sure. Thank you guys.
yeah, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Ace.
Yep.
All right. See ya.
Yep.
Bye.
Well, that was fun.
Giddy Mindy's
Ace,
here.
Ace is Ace is a cool guy. Uh,
Ace is very cool.
yeah.
He had a
Oh,
lot more
Giddy Mindy.
stories. He's so gonna be our. We're gonna have to get him on our when we figure out how we're
Oh,
gonna
our
do our
round
Tales of
table
the Territories. Yeah,
Tales of the Indies, whatever you want to call it.
Tales of the Indies. But yeah, because yeah. So we'll see. That was a lot of fun. I'm excited that
Yes.
we were able to get it. It's nice to know that we're getting some of the indie guys from other promotions. Get them in here. Let's hear about
Yeah.
their stories and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're dialed in with 0-1 for the shootout. It's cool to get them on this show. We've had a few GCW guys on in the past, but I've been wanting to get more of the interviews going on this show again, like we used to when we can. So thanks to Ace for jumping on with us. It was a lot of fun. Uh, so a couple of our friends, Menders, in I don't want to say drunken stupor on Friday, put together a fantasy booked match card between the stars of All Elite Wrestling and 0-1 USA, which is our hometown indie down here. And we went through it on the van ride to the hybrid show, but we never picked any winners, Menders, uh, which I don't know why.
Oh, I do. I do.
But I thought it might be fun if because you have the list, if I'm not mistaken, still.
Let me look real quick here. I think I do. Yep, it's right here. I got it.
All right. So if you want to just kind of, we'll just kind of run them down.
Oh, well, then you have to pick. You get a pick. I'm not going to pick because if I pick, I'm going to pick. Everybody knows who I'll pick on each
I
one
know
of
who
them.
you're gonna pick,
So,
but yeah. So we'll try to provide some clarification for some of these guys that you, our listener, might not be aware of if you don't listen to the 0-1 shootout. Uh,
I think we just
oh,
popped AJ and
AJ.
Bari.
Yep, AJ and Barry are the two fellows that put that list together. So let's just go one at a time here, Menders. Throw me out a match, I'll
All
pick you a
right.
winner.
A no disqualification match. Anakin Murphy versus Darby Allen.
All right. This is certainly not going to be a heavyweight match. Uh, I,
No, but it will
I
be
think
hard hitting if Anakin's in it.
both guys go about 140 soaking wet, I would say. I see Anakin beating the piss out of Darby and Darby just flying all over the place and, you know, just madness. Uh, the no DQ is a fun stipulation for this one. Uh, I would imagine somebody would be seriously injured in some sort of a dive off a high surface in this match. But
Probably.
I think if I had to pick a winner on this, I think I would have to go with Darby Allen taking this one
Yeah.
with coffin drop in the middle.
I think Anakin would give him a run for his money, though.
Oh,
I
absolutely,
really
he would.
do.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna
All
skip
right.
this one. This next one. I'll go back to it. But I'm gonna
Okay.
skip it for right
Okay.
now. So we're gonna go next to the champion versus champion, FTR versus the Premier, Soup and SK.
Okay. So the premier, Campbell, Stoop, Myers, SK Bishop. You might have seen Bishop in a security guard role on Dynamite about a year ago in St. Louis. Also with Camaro Jackson, by the way. I think Mike Outlaw might have been there
Mm-hmm.
too. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but they are two times 0-1 tag team champions and very sneaky, very underhanded, very, very good. And
Very good.
I know they would try to throw every trick in the book at FTR. But as much as we like the premiere, and I know you're a big premiere girl, Menders, Uh, it's got to be FTR, but I think it would be a lot of fun. These are all matches I want to see actually happen, Minderz, so far. Oh, did you freeze? Are you kidding me? All right. Well, while Minderz gets back on track, I'm going to pay a couple bills here because we're having our obligatory technical issues at this point. Yep, I'll be back, she says. Doesn't take very long usually. So I'll just kind of bullshit. So the premiere, if you haven't seen in 01 USA, they're also regulars down in the St. Louis area. I've seen them work, I think it was Glory Pro in St. Louis not too long ago. It's kind of the hometown promotion for your Mike Outlaw, Camaro Jackson, Warhorse, guys like that. Uh, but yeah, they're all these teams and the people in 01. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend going on YouTube, finding it because there's a lot of very underappreciated talent in that company, and we'll get into more of that. And if you want to hear more about these guys, tomorrow night on the 01 Shootout, we'll talk about all the comings and goings of 01 USA. We'll have a guest coming also from the St. Louis area, Nixie XS from the Forge training facility. She's been working with 01 and also with the Glory Pro promotion, and so she'll be joining us for that. And then we'll also break down all the upcoming shows and all that. So if you're interested in hearing about that, join us at 6 o'clock tomorrow on this YouTube channel or on Facebook Live on 01 Shootout podcast Facebook page. Minderz said be back. She didn't say when. She might have had to. Well, she couldn't run anywhere. She's still hobbled, but I won't say too much bad about her right now. Quick paying of the bills. I'll get this out of the way early while she's gone here. ProWrestlingTees.com/JTRPod, where you go for your Jumping the Rail Podcast Network T-shirt needs. Here's just a few of them here. Get you see the Florida. Listen to me. I've had a long day. Tony's Florida style fast food booking. That's the one. If you're watching the chat here, you'll see Minderz is sporting that one today. Get your shit and move, the universal rule of all independent wrestling. If the action looks like it's coming your way, that means it is. Get your shit and move. Just good words to live by. Got the bump card. That's one of my favorite ones. Independent Wrestling Matters, house fights, draw money, all kinds of good stuff. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. You can get plenty more there. Looks like Minderz is back with us. Minderz, what happened?
Normal technical difficulties.
Yes.
It literally just like froze, and I was like, ah, and that took forever, and it was a pain in my butt.
Yeah.
So,
AJ
what did you end up picking?
I want to pick an FTR. AJ chimed in. Camaro, Stoop, and SK were all part of the Wardlow versus 20 security guards match on AEW. So they were. At the time they were holding all the gold too. It was when they were all holding their titles in 01. So, all right. Next up, before you froze.
Uh-huh.
And I hope AJ got a picture of your frozen face because that's always funny.
Oh, I'm sure it was great. I hate that. I hate it so much. I'm sure I'll get a picture of it later. Okay, are you ready for the next one? We've got
Hit me.
Warhorse. Mm-hmm. And if everybody should know who Warhorse is. He's been on AEW.
Oh yeah.
He fought Cody. So
4,000 pounds
we've got him
of heavy metal.
Yes. Versus Sammy Guevara.
Or Guevara with an A.
Yeah, that could be it too. Sorry, like I told you earlier, I'm running on 2 hours of sleep here, guys. Give me a break, okay?
Hey, I hear you. I'm going on no nap, so I'm right there with you. So we could both nod off during this podcast if we're not careful. So we got to keep the energy up, Minderz.
Got to keep
the energy up. So Warhorse and Guevara. I think Warhorse would take great pleasure in slapping Sammy across the face numerous times because he just has that kind of face.
A slappable face. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think Sammy will fly around, but I think Warhorse will be able to catch him and throw him himself and make him fly around involuntarily. And I know everybody's high on Sammy. He's teaming up with Garcia doing the Jericho thing. I'm picking Warhorse. I'm going to make a pun. I'm going with the dark horse, which is the Warhorse on this one.
No.
I think Warhorse will rule ass on Sammy Guevara and then enjoy a Slim Jim after.
Yep, and snap it to a snip dim. Next, we got Jordan Perry versus Daniel Garcia. Speaking of Sammy's partner,
Uh, well, Jordan will be doing a lot of talking. Danny will be doing a lot of dancing.
dancing.
And after about 10 minutes of both, then they will wrestle. Uh, Bell to bell in the ring, I'm going Daniel Garcia. If he can keep that fucking dancing to a minimum, he's a hell of a wrestler. And so's Jordan, for that matter. I'm not trying to downplay Jordan's ability in the ring, but I'm gonna go with Garcia on it. He's got the youth. I think he's got the athleticism. I think he'd take it
I really
with the
like
white
this
and stone.
next match.
Okay.
I really like this next match that they put together. It's going to be the FTW belt versus the Shining Light champion. So we're looking at
Okay.
Jacques versus Jack Perry.
Okay. And not saying they should form a tag team called Jacques Perry, but I'm not going to say that. So
No,
the Shining Light
no, Mark.
champion, the
No.
luminary Jacques Kennedy. What?
I said
Oh,
no. No
no.
tag team.
All right, all right. Well, the luminary Jacques Kennedy, once you get past his conception
There.
of there, I'm sorry, my
There.
mistake. I apologize. Uh, but Jacques, very tough competitor, very crafty competitor. Always kind of finds a way to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. I think is a good way to put it. Uh,
Yep.
Jack, I don't know. I mean, he had a solid match with Hook last Wednesday. Uh, Trying out this new heel persona, getting rid of the music, getting rid of the Jungle Boy name, which I think somebody said that on this show should happen when we were going
I
through
think a
the
bunch of us have said
AEW
that.
roster. Yes.
But I think
Uh,
we said it before the AEW roster go through. We've said it
yeah.
a lot.
Up, AJ, the Jack and Jacques connection, if they were to team up. It doesn't have the panache of
Uh-oh.
powder cakes. Uh,
Did,
no, if I'm
did you see? No, Basil and Booty connection.
oh well,
Did
if
you
I
see
had to
the? Did
pick,
you see the? Did you get the message right before that? Sorry, what
let
AJ
me
said
look.
in the chat right above that.
Oh, if we not off Cinema Link, yeah. Last thing we need is AJ unfiltered on a podcast because I'm going to assume some
With
sort of
alcohol.
alcoholic libation would be involved. Uh, but we appreciate the offer, AJ. We really do. But yeah, with Kennedy and Perry, I'm going to go with Jacques. I think Jacques is going to find a way to just pull a fast one on Jack and walk out with it. Is it title versus title or just champion versus champion in that match?
Just champion versus champion.
Okay. So yeah,
I'm
I mean you
assuming
could
they
easily
did.
go
They
with the.
didn't. They didn't say.
That's true. That's true. They could just easily go with a double count out or a draw like back in the old days when they would do this.
Yeah.
But no, I'm gonna say Jacques Kennedy. Plus, if B.A. Malcolm's in his corner, that's just even more firepower.
Yeah. No. We'll talk about BA here in a minute. Next we have the 01 Junior Heavyweight title on the line. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? It's Victor
Hit me.
Analog versus Sting.
Sting is
Wasn't that
not
about
a
what?
junior heavyweight. Minderz.
I didn't book it. They did. Do you
You
remember how
can't book.
much we groaned? We groaned in the
Oh,
van when this match
oh
came
yeah.
up. We both did.
You cannot have a senior citizen holding a junior heavyweight championship, especially when they are 260 pounds. That being said, as much as Sting enjoys beating the young guys and taking away their shine and their any momentum they might have, uh, just out of principle, I'm picking Victor Analog because I don't think Sting will make weight. There you go.
There you go. How
Sting.
about Joey O'Reilly versus Kenny Omega? The
Uh,
Battle of the O's.
the oath.
I couldn't help it. It was too easy.
Yeah, no, I understand.
At least it's not Joey O'Gunn.
I was gonna
But
say, why not have Joey O'Reilly against Joey O'Gunn in a single?
right? Right?
But no, I know everybody and their mother would pick Kenny Omega for this one. I would
Are
love
you
to pick
really gonna
Joey.
do this?
What?
Okay, go ahead. I want to hear your
Now,
pick.
if you would have asked me this 3 months ago, I would say this would be a no contest because of overbooked fuckery between the elite and the
Uh huh.
lowlifes.
Uh huh.
I think it depends. It depends on who's running the show. If AEW is running the show, Kenny wins. If 01's running the show, Joey wins.
Basically.
Basically. So I'm gonna just say I'm going to go. I'm going to say Joey wins by virtue of his hot and heavy teammate Theo White interfering on his behalf.
Okay. Okay. Now this is when we got into some of
Plus,
them that I
let's be
was like,
fair,
okay,
Joey
yeah,
is a better
I
wrestler
want
than
to see
Twinkle
these.
Toes.
Yeah, that's true. Ish. I'm the one I skipped earlier. I'm gonna go back to it, and that
Okay.
is Ricky Starks versus
Okay.
B.A. Malkin,
Now
or
this will
bitch
be a
ass, as I like to call him.
yeah, because you're mean.
No, I'm not.
What did that poor boy do to you to make you have to be so mean, name
He
calling and
broke my foot.
sign harassment? He didn't break your foot. CMC broke your foot, and I'm dealing with that.
No, you're no. Uh, okay. Anyway, back to Ricky Starks and B.A. Malkin. Yeah, I know. CMC sucks eggs. I know.
Yes. Egg sucking dog. See, you got new ink apparently this week.
I saw that.
He's yeah, very original. Okay, AJ is chiming in. Ricky and BA could low key steal the show. I do agree with that because
I do too.
BA, as young as BA is in wrestling, he's been very good in the time he's been in 01. Uh, Stronger than people give him
As
credit
much as
for.
I
I've seen
hate
him.
to admit it, as much as I hate to admit it, BA is actually pretty good.
Yeah. Now that said,
I can say
Ricky
that on this
Starks.
show.
You can say it on this show. You won't say it on. If
I
I
can say it
ask you
on
about
this
this
show.
tomorrow, you'll deny.
I will deny.
Uh, so Ricky Starks apparently is a heel now. Heel on Punk
Apparently.
on Collision. Uh, I much prefer heel Starks to babyface Starks. It's just more
I
believable.
will agree.
He looks like a smarmy asshole when he's a heel, and that's how I
Yep.
like my heels. If they're not big monster heels, I want a cowardly smartass. Unless you got Swerve, who's just good at everything.
That's
But
true.
well, that being said, I do think this would be a really fun match. I'm gonna pick Ricky to win, just because sometimes BA can't get out of his own way in the ring. Like he always has something distracting him, whether it be the late not Shannon Smith or Derek Fullerton or Minderz and her big purple spoon. There, yeah, it's just I think Ricky would be able to take. I think Ricky has the edge in that match.
Okay. Now, here was another one that I got pretty excited about, and that's Cobra versus Takeshna.
Takeshita.
Or
Have you said it
Takeshita.
properly?
I did. I was trying to be nice, but I had to fix it.
I know they're both not super heavyweights, but this is your hoss fight on this show because
One of them.
they're gonna
The next one
kick
is
the
your
shit
big
out of
hoss
each
fight
other.
on this show.
Well, yeah, I'm sure. I forget what it was, but we'll get to it. But Cobra and Takeshita is your strong style hoss fight.
Yes.
Lot of suplexes, lot of kicks, a lot of spreads. Takeshita will have Don Callis and his creepy music behind him in this match. unless the Mexican photographer comes and takes him out again.
Let's go for
Uh,
it. That's fine.
but uh, I we always have this problem on the shootout trying to. How do you pick against the Cobra? I mean,
Right.
he's they call him the elite warrior for a reason. You call him the king for a reason. I call him
I do
sir
call
for a
him the
reason.
king.
As far as I'm concerned, he is sir.
Yes.
You do not look him directly in the eye because at your own peril.
Yep.
When he's in game mode, kind of similar to Minoru Suzuki. Kevin Kelly always says, "Don't look Suzuki in the eye," which I agree with that. Uh, I, I'm at the risk of sounding like a 0-1 homer. I gotta go Cobra. How do you bet
Yeah.
against the king?
Right.
As good as Takeshita is,
Are,
and Takeshita is very good.
huh?
Say it.
Are you still there? Cause you what?
I'm still there. No, I'm there. No, I was saying.
Oh,
I
you're
picked
breaking in and
Cobra.
out really bad on my end
Hang on.
anyway.
I think it's time for my every show headset reboot. Hang on.
All right, you do your every
All right.
show headset reboot.
All right. Say something.
It's kind of like your okay. It's kind of like your headset reboot and my computer reboot and technical difficulties and what we always have to deal with on every one of these shows. It seems like, but yeah, between that and everything else, and watch his will take longer this time too, like mine did, and I'll feel really bad. Are you back? Maybe, maybe not.
All right. Can you hear me?
Now I can.
All right. Now we're cooking. All right. You didn't mess it up too
All
bad
right.
while I was gone, did you?
I don't think so. I might have. Who knows?
All right. Yeah.
You ready? This is what I'm
Sure.
considering the Haas fight. Ready? Mad Dog Conley
Hit it.
versus Brody King.
Oh. All right. This match is worth the price of admission itself. I am a big fan of Big Bad Brody King, and not for nothing, Connolly is my favorite character in independent wrestling right now. Like as far as his presentation, his work, ring work, the just the gimmick in general, the chain, the dog collar matches, all just he's just been fantastic. Uh, now I'm going to assume this is one-on-one. There's no House of Blech in the corner
No
for
House
Brody.
of Black. No House of
Okay,
Black.
okay. No Julia Hart. Then I guess this is a hard one to pick. Brody, of course, is a badass. Everybody knows that. Uh, looks looks scary. Big strong guy. Connolly is like, all due respect to Taz, Connolly is like a Tasmanian devil, like an actual Tasmanian devil you would find in Australia. Not he's not as big as Brody, but he's ungodly strong. He's got that. I don't know if it's a Greco-Roman background where he can throw anybody. He can
Yeah.
take punishment, and Lord knows he can dish it out. Uh,
Oh yeah.
did they put a stipulation on this, no DQ or anything like that, or is it just a straight up match?
Nope. Straight 1-on-1.
All right,
It's stranglehold versus stranglehold in my opinion, but
I'm I'm going to say this match gets thrown out because both of them assault the referee for trying to break up them fighting.
you're probably right, actually.
Aubrey's going to stick her nose in there, and then they're going to say,
Yeah.
"Nay."
Oh, wait. I thought that was our Haas fight, but no. This next one
Oh,
is our
hang on,
Haas fight.
real quick. Hang on, we got a comment. AJ, the co-booker of this show, When Connolly catches Brody in that gut wrench suplex, the whole crowd is going to go nuts. True.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very true.
Yes. All
Now,
right.
I
Haas fight.
thought that was our Haas fight, but this is our Haas fight.
Okay.
Maki Ito versus Reign Victoria. And and the stipulation and the whole thing with Reign, she comes out as corn-fed. Corn-fed. The authentic Reign Victoria. Authentic Reign Victoria. No, she said corn-fed too. I won't get in trouble for that.
Okay.
And then
well, just making sure. I'm just making sure.
And then, but her minions come and grab her and drag her back, and she comes back as the evil empress. So, or the empress of evil. So
that makes me wonder: is Big Kyle going to still be involved here, or because he's running with KC and Jared and all those guys now?
I know, but
is this going to be the cloaked jabronis in the back with the hoods on?
Probably the jabronis in the back with the hoods on.
Well, if we're going to get EOE Reign, I'm going to pick Reign. If Maki Ito, Maki Ito has been running with Nick Gage lately in GCW. She's kind of joined the NDK gang.
Great.
So she's been doing some of the deathmatchy kind of stuff. So if she starts fighting dirty, then I might have to change my pick. But I'm going to... you and I are both fans of EOE Reign.
Yes.
Just the character's awesome. So I'm going to go with Reign on this one.
Okay. Then we have... Here's our strong fight.
Okay.
Camaro versus Claudio.
I booked this match. This was an addendum to the original card because.
Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yes. I predict Camaro will pounce Claudio out of the ring, not just into the ropes like he did Benjamin Trust and Mattoon.
Do you have that? We could show that on here.
I can't. Give me just a second here. I'm gonna have to change. Okay. I'm gonna have to change the backdrop to the 0-1 shootout backdrop.
I mean, this is kind of become an indie show this week anyway, and we're gonna do our big show. We got our 2-year anniversary coming up in 2 weeks, so where we'll focus completely. Yeah.
Okay. Now, just don't make me show the other video.
I won't.
Okay, thank you. All right, so here you go. So this is Camaro Jackson, former 0-1 USA Heavyweight Champion, taking on Benjamin Trust, another St. Louis indie guy. Just a really fun match overall, but this was the moment that really stood out to everyone, even across the Twitterverse afterward.
Okay, right there.
Yeah. Okay, Reb, seriously, Reb, you need to voice over that, and when Camaro hits Benjamin, you need to go, whee! We're both so tired that delirious, yeah, that word is starting to come over both of us.
Oh, my God. But yeah, so that's just a small sample for those that don't know Camaro, what he is capable of. As far as this match goes, Camaro and Claudio, I think Claudio will throw several European uppercuts, and Camaro will throw several chops back and forth.
Yep.
Both men will be beaten silly. Camaro's a friend of the show. He's been on this show. He's been on the Shootout.
He's so fun.
He's so fun. So good in the ring. I got to go Claudio, though. I hate to do it. I mean, but, Claudio's another guy. Booking aside, pound for pound, probably the strongest guy in AEW. And also, pound for pound, maybe one of the best technical wrestlers in AEW. So he's kind of got that whole package going,
Yeah. He could just get that promo down. He could be a triple threat.
Well, that's where you need Hero.
Nah.
But that's the term. They're saying there's a rumor that Hero might join the BCC since Danielson's hurt. But I don't know. I hope that happens. Bring back the Kings of Wrestling.
That would be great.
All right. So, anything else?
We got two more, and then you're done.
Okay.
Well, one of them's not even really a match. One of them is just MJF cutting a promo on what a stupid mud show this whole thing is. So MJF doing MJF things. We'll just
Outlaw
leave it
mid
at that.
show, you'd probably say.
Yeah. Outlaw mud show. Yeah. And then finally, this is the one I would be looking forward to just because of the
I
promos
wonder who.
alone.
I wonder who's in it.
Jimmy Carrot
Uh-huh.
and CM Punk. Just for the promos
The,
alone. I'm
the
telling you.
promos would be great. The match would be great. I think I think they make for a very good styles clash. Uh,
I think if it would ever happen, we know maybe one of these days, who knows?
you
But
never know.
I think that Jimmy Carrot seems to respect the business enough that I think CM Punk would respect him.
I think so. Plus, Jimmy's a fun guy
So
anyway, and
yeah,
I think he. How do you not get along with Jimmy Carrot? As long as you don't try to kill him, or put him through ladders or tables or doors,
low
whatever.
blow him in the middle of not your match. Yeah, you know.
Well, yeah, something like that. You know, if somebody was to ever do that to him, I'm sure that wouldn't go over well. Uh,
Sure it won't.
but no, I do think that would be a tremendous match, Carrot and Punk.
Yeah.
Uh, I do think Punk would win. Uh,
Well, yeah.
I
But
see it being
I
a.
wonder if it wouldn't go like 15, 20 minutes though. I could see it going
Yeah.
a little bit of Broadway.
Yeah, although I could see it. It could very easily come down to where Jimmy locks in Call of the Void on Punk and gets him to tap out because that is a
Yeah,
very potent submission hold.
it
Uh,
is.
plus, it's a good name for a submission hold. It, yeah,
I'm still waiting for when. Never mind. That's the other show.
we'll talk about that on the shootout.
I'll jump back. I'll jump back.
Yes,
I'm back.
yes. You're jumping the rail to our other show, Minderz. Uh, but
Well,
no,
we
as
kind of
much as I
already
would,
did like a bunch,
kind of,
but
we kind of did. Well, as much as I'd like to see Jimmy make Punk tap out, I think Punk's would take this one, but he would earn it. I'll
yeah,
finish with
he would
that.
earn it. Yeah. All right.
All right.
So thank you, AJ and Bari, for
Thank
sending
you.
us.
And I think we're going to make this a semi-regular part of the show, Miners. Every now and then we'll do an episode where we book like two promotions against each other. Just fantasy booking. I think we would put the cart together before we go live, and then we just go back and forth and pick winners here and there. I've got a few intriguing matchups between territories already in my head. So we'll do that. It's kind of like along the lines of how we do our fantasy draft. It won't be once a month. It'll be just, every now and then
Once in a blue
we'll
moon.
bust it
Yeah.
out. Yeah. Nope, AJ. Yeah, there you go. See, I also thought this maybe, but I don't know how escapable the Call of the Void is. He says if JK locks in Call of the Void and Punk rolls through and locks in the Anaconda Vice.
Yes, that's what that means. Yes, that is exactly what that means.
No, you don't have to. We'll make this a caucus. We'll all kind of do it here.
You gonna read that so people that actually don't have video?
Oh yeah. So AJ, our co-booker on this card we just ran down. Does this mean me and Bari have to get drunk and book 0-1 versus WWE next week? Don't have to if you want to. I mean, go for it. But I don't know. But yeah, we'll do more of this stuff down the road. It was fun. Hopefully you guys enjoy it as much as we did. Miners, we're making incredible time right now. Because we're only an hour and a
I'm
half in.
so excited. I'm not gonna lie. I'm
We're
kind of
We're
excited.
gonna get done on time. You can go to sleep.
I'll say,
I can-
well, we'll see. But the
I can get
last
food.
few shows we've done have went, what, like 3 hours?
Oh, you asked if I was gonna have something to show on here, and I forgot to put it up, so I'm gonna get this loaded up here before we say something. AEW was in Calgary during the Stampede weekend.
I know what this.
And
I know what this is.
Anybody knows the Stampede? It's a huge rodeo event in Calgary. The Stampede, Stu would always book wrestling shows there. The International or Canadian Stampede pay-per-view, the In Your House, was during Stampede weekend when it was like the 5-on-5 match, Heart Foundation against Austin Goldust, Road Warriors, and Shamrock. So it was a whole big
Yep.
event, and they do it every year. It's a huge thing that's been going on forever. And the AEW crew was in Calgary, and they were all getting in the spirit, and that's fine. When in
And,
Rome, as they say. But something visually struck me as odd when one of our favorite punching bags showed up dressed in his cowboy hat. Number one, Martha
yeah.
Hart looked like she was going to be on King of the Hill after the show was over because she looked ridiculous. Uh, I'm not saying I've made my opinions about Martha Hart known on this show before. I'm not going to go any further on it. Uh, but I'm just going to put this picture up, Minderz, and let you react accordingly. Oh, Tony.
Tony, come
He
on.
looks like a first grader dressed up like a cowboy from the neck up.
Sure does. I'm loving the headset
The
around
headset,
his neck too.
yeah,
Yeah,
because he
the
wants to
headset
be
around his neck.
Paulie.
Right, exactly.
But at least wear the damn thing straight, Tony. That makes me think that he had the headset on under the hat backstage.
Wait. We need to get a hat like that. And we need to get Lincoln to wear it. And we need to do who wore it better.
Yes,
I have a feeling Lincoln will have him beat. I will see
I
what I can do about that.
I see if you can make that happen, and we'll try to get that.
I'll see if I can make that happen.
Well, first let's see if his dad has a cowboy hat there. That he can just
Yeah,
send us a
I'm not sure
picture.
if his dad would. His grandpa might, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what we can come up with
Okay,
because that would
my
be
wife chimes in.
hilarious.
Not the worst picture of Tony I've seen in a cowboy hat. I'm sure there have been worse. This is just ridiculous.
I'm sorry, this
Uh,
is even worse than the little cowboy hat that Kurt Angle was wearing.
yeah.
Yeah. Hate that. Hate that picture. Hate that picture.
Okay.
But
AJ, Marina Shafir has the hat game on lock. I remember her and her hat. I know her promos were atrocious, but that's neither here nor there.
yeah. Are
Her
we going to
corny.
talk about that? Because we haven't been on for 2 weeks, so that collision happened. We haven't
Uh,
talked about the Heart. Who won the Heart
yeah,
tournament?
probably the best episode of Collision we've seen so far. 2 weeks ago, because it was the
That's
night.
mainly thanks to FTR though, because
Well,
damn that tag team match.
and Bullet Club, Juice and Jade had a
And
big
Bullet
hand
Club.
in that.
Yes. Yes, they did. And it was so good. And did you see, Mark, they used tag ropes.
They used tag ropes. The Pepper Yapper called out the time at one point. Uh,
Yep.
they didn't. They went 58 minutes and then ended with a pin when they could have just as easily gone to the draw, which is kind of Tony's MO with some of these long matches that he does. Uh,
Hmm.
no, best tag team match I've seen in. I hate putting out how many years have been, but many years. Uh, I have another cat down here. Why are you two Pretty, the
See,
one who
they're
tries to
they're even
avoid me
telling you
during
we
the
got to go
podcast.
home. Say they're even telling you we got
No,
to go home
she's in
early.
her little hidey hole here in the corner where she tries to hide from the other cat. Uh, but no, easily like I put this match up there with like say the Briscoes and the Machine Guns from Ring of Honor, or anything with Triple X and America's Most Wanted in TNA back in the day. Hearts and Bulldogs, Midnight Express, Rock and
Yep.
Roll Express. It's right up there, and
It
I
was
have
really
no
good.
issues saying that. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's the Briscoes' second 2 out of 3 falls match in a year. I think they beat the Briscoes last year. So AJ
Hmm.
has commented, says FTR are the Kings is a 2 out of 3 falls match. Uh, yeah, the only team that would have a case against it would have been the Briscoes if they hadn't lost last year, because I think they
Yep.
won like 4 or 5 of them. But yeah, so FTR retains their tag titles in a 58-minute long 2 out of 3 falls classic. Willow beat Athena to win the women's
Ruby.
Owen Ruby. Thank you. It's been 2 weeks and I've slept
I
since then.
know. Well, I just
But
watched it this morning again, so that's the whole reason I kind of
okay,
remember this.
and I know there's a lot of people complaining that they won't let Ruby win the big one in AEW. I think Willow needed it more than Ruby. Ruby's in a, well, finger quotes, hot
Ruby's in the
angle
top
with the
heel. I
outcasts.
was say she's in the top heel faction right now,
Yeah,
so she's fine.
yeah, and everybody loves Willow. She's bubbly and her music is catchy. Uh, strong as an ox.
Hmm.
Scary sometimes with some of the girls they put her in the ring with. That she's a little stronger than she
Anna
knows. I
Jay.
think sometimes. Anna Jay, yeah. But yeah, so Willow I think needed the rub a little bit more than Ruby did in this case. And I like Ruby. I'm not knocking Ruby on this. That's just it is what it is. The the main event was Punk and Starks for the men's Owen Cup. I think
Yep.
everybody was expecting Punk to win. I honestly wasn't. I
I
was expecting Starks to win.
I think I picked Punk. I picked Punk. So
I picked Starks. I did not expect Starks to win the way that he won.
right.
Little assistance from the ropes on the roll up, and then what they didn't show, unless you watch Battle of the Belts, because the shows kind of rolled over into each other. Uh, Liger came out to present the cup to the winner, and Ricky just snatched it from his hands and ran away like an asshole.
Yep.
And
Well, I heard about it. I didn't see it, so I'll have to go back and watch it
yeah,
because I
uh,
didn't make it through Battle of the Belts or whatever.
no, it was right at the beginning of Battle of the Belts, but yeah, I had to literally like they showed for some reason my DVR I got the rollover from Collision, and then when I put on Battle of the Belts, it started with the rollover from Collision. So
Nah.
so I wasn't gonna not see it. HA comments here. Willow was in the spotlight right now though because of winning the match with Mercedes Moné. True. You'd
Yep.
be dumb not to give Willow a spotlight after that. Uh, there's a point you brought up, I think, Minderz. If injuries don't happen, do we get Mercedes against Hayter at Wembley in some sort of a title match?
We got to see if everybody's going to be back to
Well, I'm
healthy.
saying no. I'm saying it's out because they're hurt. But if they never get hurt, is that the match we get at Wembley for the women's title?
Probably. Probably.
See, actually thought it might be Soraya getting the title shot because this is before Tony won. But just for name value, being in England, I would have thought that they would have put it on, have Soraya challenge. Uh, well, what I thought was Hayter at the time when this started going on.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, it's going to be Tony defending in England. Opponent unknown, everything unknown pretty much. I don't think they've announced a match yet, have they?
They haven't announced anything yet.
And we're what, 3 weeks away from, maybe a month away from supposedly their
Maybe.
biggest show of all time. They've already sold 75,000 tickets, and they have not announced a main event. Even just a main event, I would be okay with. Just something.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
is
that's the
Tony
reason I
just
was
is?
surprised. I was surprised they brought Pac back already.
Hmm.
I thought they would wait and bring him back at Wembley. I really did.
I thought they might bring him back in the build up, but I thought it would be vignettes. I didn't think they'd have him in the arenas. But
Yeah.
I think Tony is scrambling because of injuries. Danielson got hurt. I'm going to assume he was going to figure heavily into the main event at All Out or All In's the one in Wembley. I was kind of hoping we'd get Danielson against Sabre Jr., which I've been waiting for since last year when Danielson was hurt.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm going to assume that we're going to get some UK talent from Progress or from Rev Pro over there for that show. Osprey, I could see being in a big match, the U.S. title and all that. Hopefully not a rematch with Kenny. Yeah, AJ commented Omega versus
AJ,
Osprey 3 main event. I hope not. They got to space these out. They got every few months. Um,
did you see? Okay. I actually went and read the sportsillustrated.com thing about Kenny Omega?
oh, I just
Oh, it
heard
was
the
so
quotes. Just
oh,
just a
it
real
was
thick list on
terrible.
contest.
I'm not going to go through and talk about all of it, but yeah, the guy that wrote it is an idiot.
He
And you got
was
Omega
just
he's an artist I
Yeah, you talk about shining them on. I mean, come on. I mean,
I do.
Kenny's a good wrestler. I'm not gonna knock it. He's good at what he does. I'm not gonna say he's the Picasso of professional wrestling. Or, well, maybe Picasso's
No.
a bad example. We'll say the Da Vinci of professional wrestling.
I see
Uh,
what you did there.
yeah, but just the biggest friggin' fluff piece I think I've ever seen in this.
It
And
was.
they
It
did
was
one with
bad.
Moxley too, didn't they?
I didn't read the one with Moxley. I read the one with Omega, and I was like, "Oh,
It
you
was,
kidding me?"
yeah, it's just talk. Where's the friggin' journalism here? It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I dare you to let me interview Omega or Cornette, even better.
Yeah. Oh, that
Let
would be
Brian
so much
Last
fun.
interview. Let Brian Last interview Kenny Omega and see what happens. Because at
No,
least Brian will acknowledge that Kenny's a good wrestler.
Brian Last
So
interview. Chris Jericho.
or
I
Matt
want
Hardy.
it. Give it to me, please.
I want to see Brian Last interview Matt Hardy.
That would be fun too. AJ. Damn it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, Minderz, we're coming up on.
Let's
Let's
just keep
let's get
going.
into the usual business. We're kind of getting off track a little bit. It is time to get into our mainstays here on the show, starting with. After the next episode, I think I'll have another tile to put up with all of our recent inductees. After
Good.
this one and the next one, then I'll be ready to add it in there. Uh, Minders, this is your call, and I agreed with it 100%. But it's time to
It
put
was
a
a
lady
suggestion.
in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
But, it's yeah. So JTR Hall of Fame, the pinnacle of honorees in professional wrestling in the Champaign, Illinois area. Uh, and yeah, a very deserving inductee this week. The sensational one herself, Sherry Martel.
I'm so glad she's in here.
Yes.
I loved. Well, see, growing up though, when I first started seeing Sherry, she was scary Sherry to me.
Uh-huh. Oh,
But I
scary
loved
Sherry.
Sherry.
Oh, I popped so
I
bad when
loved
Brutus said
Sherry.
scary Sherry. Because, I like wordplay. And, it
Yeah.
rhymed. Even back then, I was 7 years old, and he says scary Sherry. And I'm thinking, this is genius. Brutus Beefcake is a poet.
And he didn't know it.
And he
Blah
didn't,
blah
well,
blah.
he might have known it. It's hard. He's
Might
no
have.
Lenny Poffo.
Yeah, that's
But,
true. It's
yeah.
true.
Uh,
So you got some older pictures? I want to see. There
yeah,
you go.
there's an older picture of Sherry. It might just be a black and white picture of Sherry. This might be from her early Macho Man era. Uh, Here's one of her when she was wrestling. I think this is from the AWA, and
Hmm.
she was the ladies champion for the AWA for a good amount of time in the mid 80s, 85, 86, I want to say. See, there she is with the belt, uh, looking very smug. Uh,
Perfect.
AJ can't say a single negative thing about Sherry, nor can I, except maybe her makeup needed some work. Uh, she got a little carried
Well,
away, but you know,
hey, I'm just gonna say Luna Vachon exists, so Sherry was just
this
fine.
is very true. This is very true. Uh, but yeah, so Sherry was a great wrestler. She was trained by Moolah and among others in the late 70s, early 80s, I believe, down south, and then she went to the
She was
AWA.
one of the she was one of the ladies that WWE had brought in that I really or WWF then that could hold her own. She made a
Oh yeah,
great valet. She held her own. She was able to do what she needed to do to make sure her guy won, and
there
that's
was
what I
nothing
loved about her.
there was nothing she could not do. She could wrestle, she could fight, she could talk, she could
Yeah.
be the eye candy at ringside, she could just be a distraction. So yeah, that's why I always put her in my top top 4 or 5 managers of all time, right up there with Corny and Heenan and Heyman. I put Jimmy Hart in that list also, you know. But
Yep.
so there she is as the champion. But that's also AWA is also where she started managing, you know. So she was kind of doing both. Like she was the
Hmm.
ladies champion while managing other talent. There's this guy. I don't know if you recognize this guy, Minderz.
Is that Austin?
That is not Austin. It looks like him,
Oh,
but
who is
no.
that? He does look like
So
it. Who is
in
that?
in the AWA, his name was Kevin Kelly, not the same Kevin Kelly that's an announcer in AEW. But he would go on to fame in the WWF in the early 90s as Nails,
Oh, geez.
the
Okay.
convict.
Yeah,
He kind of let himself go a little bit, lost the
a little
hair,
bit.
kind of got uglier. Uh, but yeah, he was kind of like the blonde heartthrob heel in the AWA, and Sherry was his manager. But I always will remember Sherry as managing these two fellas, who were then the AWA Tag Team Champions. On the left, you got Pretty Boy Doug Summers, and then Playboy Buddy Rose on the right. And
Hmm.
these are the guys that feuded with the Rockers when they were in the AWA over those tag titles. And they really good heels. Buddy wound up going to WWF and basically be an enhancement for a lot of debuts. I think Kerry Von Erich and Jimmy Snuka both debuted against him in 89, 90. But they were a fairly dominant tag team in the AWA in the mid 80s. So, and Sherry was a big part of that. She was basically doing what you expect Sherry to do. She would jump in there with a cheap shot if you need her to, or just a distraction. But that
Yep.
this was about 86, 87. She goes to the WWF, beats Moolah to win the women's championship there. I'm sorry, the ladies championship at the time. uh,
Yep.
Basically, same belt that Medusa threw in the trash can, but the blue strap. Uh,
Yep.
that's more of a Bari detail, which we would discuss on Gold Rush. But she held the title for a bit, wound up dropping it to Rockin' Robin, aka Jake Roberts' sister, who can't sing a lick. Anyone that's heard the
Nope.
national anthem at WrestleMania 5 can knows what I'm talking about. Don't quit your day job, honey. That's what I got to say. Uh, there's another shot of her wrestling Moolah. Looks like Moolah's a little sleepy there, but
Hmm.
you can see Sherry never stopped talking.
Nope.
She always had something to say there. After her in-ring career pretty much died down, I don't think she ever officially retired until like the 90s, but she took a back seat in-ring to be more focused on managing. And then there you go. Look at that, Macho Man.
Yep.
I think me and
Didn't
the wife
didn't
need to recreate
Elizabeth
this picture.
slap her? Didn't Elizabeth slap her at some
She's
point?
she slapped her. She hit her with that loaded purse once. Helped Brutus cut her ponytail off once. She kind of abused Sherry a little bit. Uh, and also, I got to point out also, remember Peggy Sue, Honky Tonk Man's girlfriend?
Hmm.
That was Sherry in a wig.
That's crazy.
Yeah. This, bar none, Sherry's best run in WWF was her with Macho. This is pre Kingdom, when there was this Macho Man and Sensational Sherry. Of course, eventually Macho King and Sensational Queen, as we know.
Yes.
And then Sherry started to get creative, we'll say, with her look. I just picked
A
one
little bit.
picture that really stands out. There,
Dear Lord.
she get.
Sherry. This would be where Scary Sherry came in.
This is scary, Sherry. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, she started getting a little creative. That's when Macho started wearing the cowboy hats and the full outfit instead of just the robe and the sunglasses and the headband. Uh, Sherry was a history maker, as we know, WrestleMania 6. She was in the first intergender tag team match at WrestleMania, her and Macho against Dusty Rhodes and Sapphire. Uh, see
I
Elizabeth
loved
out there
her.
in Dusty's corner.
Yep.
Again, interfered. Sherry never really did anything to Elizabeth, probably because Macho wouldn't allow it, if I had to guess.
Right.
Uh,
Probably. That you're
but
probably right.
yeah, and I think I try to take that back. I think there was one incident where Sherry slapped Elizabeth. But according to Bruce Pritchard, he talked about this on. They did a Sherry episode of the podcast a couple years ago, something to wrestle, and according to him, Sherry was terrified to do it. She did not want to slap Elizabeth. She didn't because she didn't want to hurt her.
Right.
Number one, because she's a nice lady and didn't want to hurt somebody, but number two, I think she was worried about what Macho would do if she hurt Elizabeth.
Yeah, that could be a little creepy.
Well, I don't
Little
know, creepy,
scary.
but a little scary. Yeah, yeah.
A little
Uh,
scary.
so WrestleMania 7, Macho loses to Warrior, has to retire. So Sherry's out a meal ticket. But what does she do less than an hour later? She joins up with the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
Yeah.
Mhm. She called him her teddy bear.
Wow. I
Yeah,
forgot about that. I
yeah,
totally forgot about that.
yeah. They worked together very long. They were together maybe less than a year because by the time WrestleMania 8 rolled around, there you go. She
Yep.
got herself a boy toy, Minderz.
She did get a boy toy. She
A
carried the
heartbreak
mirror
kid.
to the ring.
She did.
She
She got hit
carried
with
the
the
mirror
mirror
to the ring.
eventually.
Yep.
She would wear articles of clothing that seemed to have pieces missing.
Hmm.
Case in point. Uh, now this is SummerSlam, and we've talked about this before. Uh, Sherry was involved in my favorite match at SummerSlam '92, and no, it's not Brett and Bulldog or LOD and Money Inc. Shawn Michaels wrestled Rick Martel. Minderz, do you remember this match?
It's been a long time since I've seen
Do
it.
you remember the caveat in the contract about this match?
I do not. Inform me, Reb.
Neither man was allowed to punch the other in the face. That was a clause put
Did
in
you have
by
the
Sherry.
model versus the boy toy?
And Sherry
Got it.
put that clause into the contract because she'd been kind of flirty with Rick, but she was still with Shawn, so she liked both of them equally. Uh, Finally, and you knew it was going to happen during the match. Somebody was going to get punched in the face, and
Yep.
there was a point in the match, and I just watched this match last week, so that's why it's fresh in my mind. Both guys just cock the fist back, and as soon as they both do this, Sherry's up on the apron, like trying to reason with them. And as soon as they
Right.
cocked fists, bam, fainted, dead away on the apron. So then once Sherry's
Oh,
out, then they start going to town, no punching and everything. They fight on the floor. They're fighting up the ramp, and whoever the camera guy was deserves a raise because there was a camera guy like right behind Sherry's head, and you see the guys fighting off into the distance, but then you see Sherry like raise her head up and look, like are they fighting over me? That kind of a thing. But then as soon as they started to turn around, boom, back down again. She was faking. It was just so
she
good.
was
Just
selling.
classic Sherry. And then, long story short, as if that's possible, uh, at the end, Michaels is carrying Sherry back, who apparently had fainted for a solid 6 minutes, which is
No,
not good if it's real, but when you're faking, it is what it is.
it
Uh,
is what it is.
and the model brought out a bucket of water, and instead of throwing it in Sean's face like everyone thought he was going to do, he dumped it on Sherry's head to
Yep.
wake her up. She looked like a drowned rat, according to Bobby Heenan, and she just lost her shit, ran away, ran down the aisle, just embarrassed to no end, and just fantastic. Best business in that whole show, outside of the main event. I mean, God knows it was better than the Macho Warrior match, which was just
Yeah.
a clusterfuck.
Mhm.
Interesting fact, Benders. Sherry, obviously Sherry Martel is her name. For
Right.
the longest time when I was a kid, I thought she was related to Rick Martel, not realizing that she is from Louisiana and he's from Montreal at the time.
Well, they could have been
But
long lost cousins, I guess.
could have been, but as far as my research goes, that is not the case.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, but this is the end of Sherry's. She does the split with Sean. Then she's like managing everyone against Sean for a bit. Then has a little run with Luna after WrestleMania
Yep.
9. Goes to WCW, and what do you do with Sherry? You got to put her with Flair, right?
Right.
And at
But
this
the
point, now
makeup,
she
though.
can't.
But the
Yes,
makeup.
now she can't be sensational Sherry. That's the WWF name. So she's Sensu Sherry. They changed
Ah.
it just enough, and she came out managing Flair for a while until he retired in the cage match with Hogan,
Retired.
and then yeah, so she moved on, and there you see she's with Harlem Heat. This is my favorite WCW run for Sherry. Was her with Harlem Heat. and they rechristened her Sista Sherry.
Sister Sherry.
Yeah, and she was awesome. The stuff with Colonel Parker was uncomfortable to watch for the most part. Bari knows what I'm talking about. He's in the chat, but she was awesome. She was like they didn't need a mouthpiece in Harlem Heat. They could rap, they could do the thing, But Sherry was just the icing on the cake for those two. And then
So she was the
she
little
wound up,
added bit of something that they needed.
yeah, yeah, and that went through until I think '97. I think is when she retired from wrestling and just stepped away because then I think Jacqueline took over with Harlem Heat. So yeah, she I don't have the picture, but then she came back in 2005 with Kurt Angle on an episode of SmackDown in the build up to the match with Shawn, and she sang the lyrics of "Sexy Boy," but she changed it to be about Kurt because, as we know,
Oh,
Sherry
geez.
sang the original "Sexy Boy" entrance music.
Right?
Bari says early '97. Thank you, sir. Uh, but yeah, so that was then Kurt put her in an ankle lock, and then that was the last we saw of her until 2006.
Ish.
There she gets her just due
There she
finally
is.
WWE Hall of Famer. This was just about a year before she passed, unfortunately. But
Mm-hmm.
she made a fun speech. It was a little long, but that was kind of par for the course in those days. Well deserved. I mean, it's easy to say she's the greatest female manager of all time. Like I said, she's in my top five, just period. Oh yeah, I forgot the words, AJ. I'm just a sexy Kurt. Dot dot dot. I'll make your ankle hurt.
my ankle hurt. Oh,
I'm gonna guess
Lord.
that Kurt authored those lyrics himself. But
Probably.
yeah, congratulations in the great beyond to the sensational Sherry Martel, our latest inductee, well deserved into the Hall of Fame. And in 2 weeks we'll have another one. We'll have to find somebody very very well deserving for our anniversary episode, Minderz.
Okay.
But
Sounds
I
good to
think
me.
I got somebody in mind, so I think we'll be.
I say I've had the past couple picks, so it should be your turn.
Yeah. Well, no, I picked Zabisco last week or last episode, but
Well,
you picked the
yeah,
Bulldogs
but
before that.
yeah, I
We
had the Bulldogs
alternated.
before that.
Yeah, so I think we're kind of getting to where me and Barry are on Gold Rush, where each episode we pick one. Like I'll pick one, then he'll pick the next one, then back and forth. So that might be the way to do it. And then when Gary comes back, we'll get him involved also.
He gets to pick like the next 10 then.
Yeah, right. I think we'll just kind of squeeze him into the rotation, just one at a time. I think he.
Do
I
we
think
know
he, I
when our
think he'll
good
want
friend Gary will be back?
Still undecided. He's handling some stuff at home. He does hope to be back soon. It's up to him.
Good.
I just told him whenever he's ready. Uh, but I know we have a gig coming up in September in Tuscola that we're gonna have to start getting ready for. So maybe I'll find out where his head's at these days. But yeah, he's got a bit on his plate, and we're giving him his space to get that handled. So hopefully soon. That's all I'll say.
Good.
All right. Well, Minderz, we have one more order of business before we pay the bills. DABILLZ,
The Bills.
like the hip people say. So I think we should just get to it, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. I have to make sure that nobody catches me dancing off camera when that song kicks on because it's a banger. All right. So,
as long as you don't ever catch me dancing to our intro song, because I do that a lot.
all right. If Devontae Knox is ever on, then we'll do a dance off. But until then,
No.
Top 10 Tuesday. It
Thank
is
you.
Tuesday. We have a top 10 list, so we do top 10 Tuesday. And this edition is a little bit behind schedule. SmackDown was in MSG just a couple weeks ago, Minderz,
Yep.
where we had some big business with the bloodline and everything. And that got me thinking.
I say I left this one basically up to you. I didn't get a chance
Okay.
to do any research, so
Okay. Well, this one, it's basically number one and then no particular order because it's hard to put these in order because they're so good.
yeah.
Our category this week, greatest matches in Madison Square Garden. Uh, they're going to be all WWF, WWE matches, to be honest with you. Uh, I didn't put anything from that G1 Supercard show that Ring of Honor did. It wasn't AEW yet, but I think I've got a pretty stout list here. So let's just get right to it. All right, number one. Start with number 10. That's how we do this, right? Uh, num
10.
Numero 10, as LDLC would say. Speaking of Diez, WrestleMania 20, WWE Championship, Eddie Guerrero defending against Kurt Angle. I love this match. This is probably my
Such a
favorite
good
match
match.
on WrestleMania that year. Uh,
Such a good match.
Eddie doing Eddie things at the end with the boot. Uh,
It was
Eddie was
brilliance. It really
it was
was brilliance.
it really was. Was there a more creative wrestler than Eddie Guerrero with finding ways to cheat?
No.
But it's like he said,
See.
if it ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Uh, I love the psychology. I love the build up to the match when Kurt turned heel on him after he won, after he beat Brock at No Way Out. Uh,
Yep.
they did the angle where Eddie wrestled Paul with his hands handcuffed behind him, and then Kurt wound up being in the building when they thought he wasn't there and just beat the shit out of him. Uh, and then the match was, you can't have a bad match with these two guys in it, especially
Mm-mm.
at this point in their careers, because Kurt was still reasonably healthy at the time. Uh, Eddie was Eddie had never been better at this point. This is the best Eddie ever was, in my opinion. This is my favorite Eddie Guerrero.
Yep.
97 Cruiserweight Eddie is a close second. But look at him. He's the best shape of his life here. The mullet's gone, for better or worse. The gear
I'm
is on
so glad
point.
when he cut off. I was so glad when he cut off that mullet.
He was, but yeah, the whole doing the lowrider entrance and everything. It was just he was just so good as a babyface here, and everything he did, the fans just rallied around at this point. Like he could do no wrong until he tried to steal Dominic away from Ray.
Yeah. Which I don't
Which,
understand because it was his son anyway.
right, but he'd signed over custody to Ray. Now they could have just hung Dominic from the rafters in the ladder match at SummerSlam instead of the briefcase.
They could have.
They might have gotten in a
Could
little
have.
trouble for that,
Might
but
have. Just a little bit.
yeah.
Isn't
But
that
yeah,
isn't that
this.
what a shark cage is for though? Shouldn't they just
Oh
put him in a
yeah,
shark cage? They've been
yeah, they
fine.
could have done that. Put him on a swing. He was a kid. Kids
Dominic
love
on a
swings.
pole.
Yeah. Hey, also shout out to Dominic. The Dirty Dom is the new NXT North American champion.
Yeah.
So Dom
I
has
heard
some
that,
gold.
which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I think they're letting Tony book some stuff over there. I'm
No,
starting to
this
get a little
makes sense.
concerned.
It makes sense to me. Judgment Day is right nipping at the heels of the Bloodline for most entertaining parts of their respective television programs. And
But
now they're putting Judgment Day on NXT. NXT was never part of the brand exclusivity. It was always just Raw to SmackDown and back and forth. They
yep,
never drafted anybody to NXT from the main roster. They just drafted people from NXT to the main roster. So main roster
right.
talent going to NXT is fair game. I've
I understand
justified
that.
all of this in my head. And Dominic never got his NXT run,
No, that's because he rode his adopted daddy's
Now,
coattails.
now, be nice. But hey, I'm gonna say this though. And when he first showed up he was greener than shit.
Oh my
He's
gosh, it was so bad.
he's gotten so good these days though.
He is
Everything he's
good.
doing is hitting now. And
Yeah.
just the fan reaction itself notwithstanding, he's getting better in the ring. His look is better. The mullet is glorious. The character work with Rhea is good. Yeah,
I heard
AJ,
they're
you
getting
could.
in a little spat.
Who is?
Oh, apparently Buddy Murphy's a little upset with Dominic, but that's
Well, Buddy has no leg
it's
to
just
stand on.
hearsay.
Buddy hit on Dom's sister. He has no leg to stand on here. So he's getting what he's got coming. Um,
Okay.
Minderz, would you believe we have flown off the rails here? We went from talking about Eddie and Kurt Angle to
Not
talking
us
about Dominic Mysterio's romantic
in
issues.
NXT. Right.
Shall we go to number 9, Minders? Get this
9.
get this fiasco back on track. All right.
Yeah, let's try.
Number 9, Bob Backlund versus Jimmy Snuka in the cage. This is from 1982. This is heel Snuka when he
Yep.
was like just the madman. Uh, this was the first time he did the dive off the cage, but he missed. In this case, Bob moved out of the way, but the leap was glorious. He full on just pancaked that mat when he landed on it,
So it would have
and
been a
that's
really fun wee, is what you're telling me.
yeah, yeah. I don't know if Jimmy's ever weed in his life, but but yeah, this was Bob during his title run before he lost to the Sheik. But yeah, I think everybody expected Jimmy to win the title at some point because number one, he was easily the most athletic guy they had, it, and
Right.
his character was good. Uh, he did all the cool shit off the ropes and everything, but yeah, he never really got his shot. Even and we'll get into more of Jimmy here later because I got another Jimmy match on here. I'll bet you know which one it is.
I
Uh,
figured you probably had another one on here.
yeah. All right. Number 8, Greg the Hammer Valentine versus Tito
This
Santana,
does not
Intercontinental
surprise me
Championship.
one bit.
This is a lumberjack match that they had right before WrestleMania, like early '85, and I'm usually not a fan of lumberjack matches, Minders, because it's predictable. All the lumberjacks are going to fight each other and all this. This
Right.
was actually a proper lumberjack match. Nobody really, there wasn't a huge brawl outside of the ring. At the end, there was some fuckery, but just enough.
We,
And
I say you
and
can't have a
Hammer,
lumberjack match without a little bit.
that's true. But Hammer was able to escape with his Intercontinental title, went on defended against JYD at Mania after that. But the lumberjacks, we had Bundy, you had JYD, Rocky Johnson, Jimmy Snuka, Ricky Steamboat, all kinds, like pretty much everybody that was on the card were lumberjacks during this show. And
Well,
I
that's
wish
the
I
way
had
you
the
run a
actual
lumberjack match.
what?
That's the way you run a lumberjack match. You just put
Oh,
everybody that's on
obviously.
the card
Well,
back
yeah,
out there.
yeah, but it's not having Techno Team 2000 out there like the one in '95. Uh, but I digress. But no, really good. Those two always had good matches. I love their cage match, but that wasn't in the Garden, so it's not on the list. It was in Baltimore. Uh, but yeah, and you know how I feel about Chico. I got the Tito Santana red throwback shirt from PWT's last week, Minders. So I'm very excited about that.
I bet you
Uh,
are. Did
oh
you
yeah,
see what I got from
oh
PWTs?
yeah.
We'll talk
You
about
got
it
your.
more later.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that when we pay the bills. But that's a good looking T-shirt. Even though I didn't realize when I designed it, it looks like a mustard bottle, but
I
it
look
works.
like Big Bird with these pants on that I have on. I have on pajama pants that have this red stripes. I look like Big Bird. It's great. I'll have
You're
to
not
show
tall
you
enough.
later.
You're not tall enough to
That's
be a big bird.
true. I'm Baby Bird then.
Baby bird. There you go. All right, moving on here. Uh, Number 6. Here's the other Jimmy match. The
That,
match with
yep.
Morocco. Another cage match. This one he hit the leap, but after the match was over. Uh,
Right.
Still not quite getting his hands on that proverbial brass ring. Morocco retained the Intercontinental Championship here, but everybody that was at that show, Mick Foley, Tommy Dreamer, Bubba Ray, I think Little Guido was there. They all make the point that this was the moment that really made Snuka's career, but they're always
Yeah.
quick to add that you got to have two guys to make a great moment, and Morocco was so good in this match. I don't know when the last time you saw this was, Minderz, but
It's been a minute.
the finish of the actual match was awesome because Snuka headbutts Morocco, but before he did, Morocco has signaled for the door, so he just did a backflip out over the ropes out the door to win the match after taking a headbutt. It
Oh
was
wow.
literally it's just so good. I love Morocco. He was awesome. Uh, you might say he was magnificent.
Oh, you might say that. You just
see
might.
what you see what I did there. All right.
Let's see what you did there.
Yeah, and we've talked about that match several times on this show in the recent past, so we're not going to say too much about it. Number
Yep.
5. Wait, 4. What?
No,
Where'd my
that
number
was
4 go?
6.
My number 4 disappeared. What the hell?
Well, where's your number 5? We're to
Well,
5 now. That
let's
was
get into
6,
number
wasn't it?
five. While we're talking about number five, I'm going to I'm going to
You're
search
gonna
for my
look for
number
number
four.
4? Okay.
Yeah. All right. Number five, I got Dusty Rhodes against superstar Billy Graham in the bull rope match in
Yep.
Madison Square Garden. 77, I want to say it was.
It was before my time. I know that.
It was before my time also, but I love my
Doesn't mean we
Dusty.
haven't
And
seen it, but
yes. All right. I'm going to keep hunting here, but this was Dusty's only real foray into Madison Square Garden for a long time, because as we know, he was a Florida guy at that point. He was
yep.
Eddie Graham's his guy, but this was still the territory, so they would swap talent, you know.
As you do, especially when you have a big draw like Dusty.
There we
And
go.
Billy,
Okay.
for that matter.
Yes. All right. Found it. So actually, that was my number three that was missing, but I
Oh,
just knew that I didn't have five tiles there, so we're good.
okay.
Let me just add it to the listeroo here. Uh, we talked about Billy a lot on when we put him in the Hall of Fame on the episode after he passed away, Minderz, and
Yep.
this was a big part of the conversation was the matches he had with Dusty, both here and later on in Florida.
Right.
But yeah, so good. They told a great story over three matches. First one was straight up. Then they did the bull rope match. Then they did the Texas Death Match. I believe that was the order they went in, but it escalated each time in long
You mean
term. Like
they didn't start with the most escalated match first?
no, you can do that.
Oh my gosh. I never knew.
Yeah.
Did
All right. It's
Thanks, Tony.
yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. All
All right, number
right.
4 before
I
we
got
keep
him.
going.
Yeah. All right. Number four, WrestleMania 10, Brett versus Owen. As a younger brother, I rejoiced when Owen beat Brett here. Uh, this could have just been the tip of the iceberg with Owen, but they kind of let him kind of flounder after mid '94 back to the mid card. Uh,
That was about the best match on that show.
that was by far the best match on that show. Even
Yeah.
though technically there's another match on this list that was from the same show, but I got it on there higher because of impact and historical
Yeah.
relevance. But this match, technically, just a just a masterpiece. Just
Chef's
holds
kiss.
and counter holds, the finish, the finger roll. I'm thinking George Gervin now. The victory roll that Owen countered into a cradle. It was just all around awesome, you know.
Mhm.
And we know how much we love Brett and Owen here, especially Owen for me.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right,
Oh, for
number
me too.
three.
I'm not as much into Brett as I was Owen. I liked Owen a
I
lot
always
more.
thought Owen was better. He did more.
Yep.
He did more. He was more athletic, better talker, uh, funnier. He was good at the jokes.
If they would have put as much behind him as they did Brett, just think of what would have happened.
Oh yeah, they could have done it after Brett left in '97,
Mhm.
but they put him in the European title picture with Triple H instead of they. I think he had one match with Shawn on TV, not even on a pay-per-view, and that just they could have printed money if they would have had Owen against Brett or Owen against Shawn after the screw job.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he also kicked Brett's leg out of his leg. Uh, great promo moment there.
That's great.
You know, everybody gets a little tongue tied during promos in the heat of the moment, you know.
It
Uh,
happens.
yeah. All right, let's go to number three, Minderz. Another guy we lost recently.
Hmm.
Iron Sheik versus Sarge in the boot camp match.
Yeah.
This is one that would be considered overbooked fuckery these days. A lot of
Well,
blood,
yeah.
but they did it well though. I love this match. I mean, the angle itself it wrote itself,
Right.
and for these two and I think this may have been the blow off of the feud in like mid to late 1984. before Sarge took off because he was making more money from Hasbro for GI Joe figures. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, just these two guys work so well together. Uh, I love the picture I got where Sheik has his foot up in the corner, about to ram Slaughter's head into it.
Yep. Those loaded boots.
Yep. I tried to get convince B.A. Malcolm to load up his boot after Sheik passed away for an Edgewood show, just out of tribute, but he didn't do
How'd
it.
that work out for you?
Well, he didn't do it, so he might have won. I think he won anyway, but it would have been easier for him if he would have loaded up the boot. If he was wrestling CMC, I would have brought the stuff myself and like shoved it in there when he wasn't looking. But that's for another time. Did you freeze again? Oh, Minderz froze again. All right. Well, while she tries to fix herself, uh, we're gonna go to number 2. Yeah, she just messaged me. Fucking computer, she says. I hear you. All right. Well, let's get into number 2. We can only say so much about the boot camp match that hasn't been said already. But number 2, WrestleMania 20, or WrestleMania 10. I forget how Roman numerals work sometimes. Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels, Intercontinental Championship. The first ladder match on like worldwide television. The first one, of course, was Brett and Shawn on a house show on Coliseum Video, but this one, both guys had a claim to the title, so they decided to put it in a ladder match. They did it at the Garden at WrestleMania, uh, and it kind of changed the business for all intents and purposes because it was uh, not the first of its kind, but it was the template for all the other ladder matches that followed it. And we got Diesel out there for a few minutes, got him over without having to do much. Uh, Shawn, uh, and it wasn't a handful of ladders all in the same match, just one ladder for the whole thing. We talked about this, Bari and I, on Gold Rush. We were talking about the Intercontinental title, so this match came up, of course. And yeah, it's just they just kept it simple, or as simple as a ladder match could be. Uh, Hang on, AJ commenting while Minder is frozen. I'm going to drop a completely unrelated fun fact. Tai Conti and Yuka Sakazaki have some of the best movesets on Piper. We're not talking about the video game, AJ. Killing me. But thank you for the little distraction there. All right.
I hate my
Minders, are you
computer.
back?
I hate my computer.
Ugh,
It's a
damn
brand new
computer.
computer. I just got it.
Technology.
I
All right.
know, right?
Minders, we're talking about Shawn and Razor in the ladder match, WrestleMania 10.
Okay.
Uh,
That was number
yeah,
2.
just that was my number 2.
Okay.
You got any opinions you want to add about that match?
They should have had 2 ladders.
They didn't need 2 ladders.
Yeah,
They
they
only
did.
need 1 ladder. There were 2. The ratio should be 1 ladder for every 2 guys in the match. That's how it
Okay.
should be, 1 to 2. Now, the second ladder match
Okay.
they had 2 ladders, but no, I think this ladder match was darn near perfect, if you ask
Oh,
me.
it was really good. It was the first time the mainstream had seen a ladder match, so it was great.
Yes, it is. Yep. And it was also the first time they'd seen somebody with that much chest hair. 2 guys with that much chest hair.
Yeah, no kidding. Holy crap.
2 very hirsute fellows in that match.
Very.
Plus, the mullets were fantastic in that match. On all 3 guys, Shawn, Razor, and Diesel, all had pretty spectacular mullets in that match.
They did. They did.
Yes. All right. Well, are you ready for number 1 here, Minders?
I'm ready. Yes, I'm ready for number 1.
All right. Not only do I think it's the greatest, it's also my favorite match to ever happen at Madison Square Garden. Triple H versus Cactus Jack in the street fight at the Royal Rumble in 2000. And I could have very easily had 2 matches between these 2 guys on here because on the September 22nd, 97 Raw, when that's known mainly for being when Austin stunned McMahon for the first time, that's the night that Cactus Jack debuted on television wrestling Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Very
And
nice.
they had that Falls Count Anywhere match. It was really good. But this match was so good. If you like death matches, if you like I'm not gonna say Outlaw Mud Show stuff because this is far from Outlaw Mud Show business. Uh, there's some things that made me scratch my head. Uh, when Cactus first pulled out the 2x4 wrapped in barbed wire, it became very disheveled after he used it a couple times. And then the referee took the board away, put it under the Spanish announce table, and then when Cactus got the 2x4 back, it was in perfect condition. Like they had rewrapped it. It was tight. I'm willing to bet it wasn't the same barbed wire, if you know what I mean,
Probably
in that
not.
match.
Yeah.
But safety is good. So no, not knocking it. Triple H took a friggin' backdrop onto a wooden pallet that skewered his calf. It was gross. So he
Ugh.
was bleeding from his leg. He said he had to pour the blood out of his boot after the match. Like literally, like took his
I'd
boot off and just
I'd believe it.
it was. He said it was to the point where the referee had gotten word that if they needed to stop the match, they would stop it and put the belt on Cactus, but Triple H said he could still go. So they
Wow.
wound up powering through. All the classic fuckery that you expect from Cactus Jack, 2x4 barbed wires, thumbtacks, chairs. They tried to do an
At least
homage
with
to the
at least with Cactus Jack, I always believed it.
true. They even tried to do an
Unlike the
homage to Rumble '99 when they handcuffed Mankind and Rock hit him like 14 times with the chair. They,
yeah.
they did that again, but this time The Rock interfered and whacked Triple H with the chair.
See, but I
Uh,
don't mind. I don't mind that quote unquote death match. It's that crap like we watched last Wednesday. Well, that I made
oh,
like
Blood
10
and
minutes
Guts.
through last Wednesday. Yeah.
Oh, talk about
So
everything
dumb.
but the kitchen sink. I'll see if I can run down everything they use. They use uh, broken glass, thumbtacks.
That was it. That was it for me. Broken glass,
Okay,
I was done.
okay. After you stopped watching, apparently, you missed the bed of nails.
I saw a replay of it, so no, I
Uh-huh.
didn't completely miss it.
Yeah. One of the Bucks had the thumbtack shoe.
The
Because you
thumbtacks
got
that
to do
came
the
through
super
the
kick.
top of the cage. Yeah, right?
Oh yeah,
Or the
he was up on
thumbtacks that
the
came
top
through
of the
the
cage and he
cage.
let it rain down over the guys. Come on, just drop an anvil if you're up there. Uh, uh, Moxley coming out with a fork and forking Omega and Hangman, but neither one of them were bleeding.
Right.
Uh, uh,
Or
Ibushi looked,
what was it? Kota Ibushi after the match dropping himself on the thumbtacks.
yeah, he
What an
just bumped
idiot.
on the thumbtacks for no reason. Ibushi looked about 20 pounds overweight in this match. Not the chiseled Adonis that we remember from New Japan. He let himself go a little bit. And I know he hadn't been in the ring for a year, but oh well. It wasn't the
Not the
same
Kota we
Ibushi.
remember even from the
Not the
Cruiserweight Championship.
no. And because when he's in tip top shape, he can be damn good. I know some people tend to shit on him because he wrestled a blow up doll once in Japan, and I get it, but he's done other things since then and has had a good career in Japan. I'll give him his due. World champion,
There's a lot of people that have
intercontinental
had good
champion.
careers in Japan that aren't getting over here, which I totally get it. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
it's not
yeah,
our style.
it's not for everybody. It's true.
Nope.
Uh, but I thought maybe Ibushi would show out a little bit more. I won't be surprised to see a Golden Lovers tag team run out of this. Uh, Ibushi and Omega maybe going for the tag titles. Uh,
That would be fun.
yeah. I mean, Omega can't go after MJF because that's clearly going to be Orange Cassidy going after MJF for the world title.
I hate you, Mark. You put it out in the universe. You put it out in the. We've been
You
putting it
put it
out in the
out in the
universe.
universe before. My hands are clean here.
No, because you've been talking about it, and
Where's my
I'm
spoon? I
actually
don't have a
scared.
spoon, but I can stir the pot with the best of them, lady.
You had a ladle.
I
I don't
had
know
a
what you
ladle.
did
It's
with
in
your
the kitchen.
ladle.
It's back in the kitchen. I think we may have used it the other day. But yeah,
But yeah,
Cactus and Triple H never had a bad match, even though they were not the most technically proficient. I mean, they did the Hell in a Cell where they backdrop Cactus through the roof again. Uh, but those first two Cactus Triple H matches, I'm not counting the stuff with Mankind or Dude Love. The two matches at the Garden, I think, were probably my two favorite Cactus Jack matches ever, including like ECW and WCW.
no, wow.
So that's why
Yeah.
that's at the top of my my list there. So that will conclude our top 10 Tuesday. And I kind of started paying bills the first time your computer froze, Minderz, but we'll pick it up. And
Okay.
just to remind everybody, prowrestlingtees.com/JTRpod for several of our t-shirt options. You see just a handful there. You see Minderz is wearing the Tony's Florida style fast food booking shirt. Bump card, Independent Wrestling Matters, House Fights, Draw Money, or just a simple JTR crew shirt. The back has the logo, and you'll see in the top right hand corner of your screen, but with without the red. So just something to think about there. AJ makes a very sound point. You don't have to
He
have technical
does.
skill to beat some ass. Very true.
Very
Uh,
true.
yeah. All right. So along with Pro Wrestling Tees, of course, we got brainbustertees.com/other/JTR-podcast-network. Uh, just a breathe. Uh,
Did you breathe?
for I breathe. Uh, so you got some more options there, not only from Jumping the Rail, but from the 0-1 Shootout, from Gold Rush, from the network itself. Uh, there you see the network logo on top left, our Heart Foundation logo here on the right. Yeah, Minderz with her spoons because you know she likes to stir the pot. Uh, the JTR Army shirt for all you Kiss fans, and we might have to get this one for Ace because if his nickname is the Black Diamond, that makes me assume he's a Kiss fan.
You know, Ace has
Uh,
some. I actually went and looked. Ace has some shirts on jumping the or on Pro
Pro
Wrestling
Wrestling Tees.
Tees.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, so go check out Ace's stuff. There's a lot of our 0-1 friends that have some pre-WT stores on there, so check that out. Uh, yeah, the wife's waiting
Guess
for
what?
me so she can.
I got my 2 new shirts. I've got my
Uh-huh.
Anakin Murphy shirt, and I've got my Kenny Calic shirt, and I got my bump card shirt,
Nice.
and I got my Get Your Shit and Move shirt.
There you go. Oh, Minderz, we've got a few extra designs here on Brainbuster Tees. We've talked about the NWO style. You got the Wolfpack, or you got Hollywood, if you so choose. A new one this week. I kind of had a little fun with this. I kind of did like a kind of a futuristic kind of a logo for when AI takes over. Uh,
Uh-huh.
there you see, it's kind of a Tronny kind of a
Oh,
thing. I with Chrome uh, there, you know, just
yeah.
simple. So check that out. And then of course, and I gotta go back to the 0-1 Shootout overlay to get to the other ones. Uh, if you're for all you fans of Mindy Elam, if you feel so inclined, I'm a Minderz guy. Or if you're the other side of the gender spectrum, I'm a Minderz girl. I don't know. For all those that don't identify as either, should we get an I'm a Minderz person shirt?
Maybe. Nah.
Maybe. We'll
Have
see.
we sold any of them yet? Have we sold any of them yet?
That is classified information. I haven't got the reports yet from this month, so I'm not sure. Then
We'll,
also,
we'll think about it.
if you want a pic, if you want a shirt with my my plenum on it, there you go. The Prodigy SCMC. What that means, he'll tell you. Uh, and I'm just gonna get back to here so I can play the outro music. Uh, Next episode is gonna be the big 2-year anniversary, Minderz. Uh,
Are we
and
having
we're gonna
guests
do
next time
another.
too? Or no?
No guess. We're doing our next fantasy draft episode though, where you, me, and I think Barry's gonna join us, and we're gonna draft
Okay.
our independent
Now we
draft.
need
So our
I was
favorite.
gonna say we need some stipulations on where we're going and what ones we can use and
Uh, if you're signed to AEW or WWE, I'd say you're off the table. If you're MLW or Impact or ROH, I think it's fine.
okay.
So yeah, as long as you're
Okay.
not part of the big
So we're
two,
sticking with
I
those
think.
3 though. We're not okay. Are we doing locals or two or no?
Oh yeah. Oh no,
Okay.
independent. Anybody, yeah. Anybody on the indies. But
Okay.
the limit is if you're signed to AEW or WWE, you're not independent anymore. If you're there's guys in
Barry, you
Impact
stay
and
away from our old
MLW.
booking stuff.
Yeah, MLW and Impact still have guys going doing independent dates, so they count.
Yeah. Okay.
Technically AEW does too, but they have contracts, so they're not independent.
Yeah.
So that's what we had to look forward to for the big 2-year episode. Uh, then after that, we'll just keep doing what we do. Talking, you're going to be laid up for a bit, so you have a lot of wrestling to watch. I'm sure a lot of opinions. Uh, we'll
Well,
work on getting some
we'll
more guests.
keep our fingers crossed that I will be back for sure next Wednesday. Well, tomorrow obviously, but next Wednesday because I cannot miss
All
that
right.
01 Shootout podcast next Wednesday. So
No, we got the champ next Wednesday. Uh,
yeah,
Joey O'Reilly's going to be joining us. So, and you've kind of gotten
I
on
might
his bad
shock
side a
him a
little bit,
little bit.
Minderz.
I might shock him a little bit. Yeah, you know what?
Uh,
We'll see. I might
AJ
shock him a
AJ
little bit.
says AJ says let me get
Uh
in on that
oh.
draft. If you can do it without causing trouble, AJ, we'll think about it.
Stick to
We
beer.
know what happens. Yeah, and not 3 buckets like
Ah, you're
you
no fun.
you wackos. All right. Well, before we go, I got to show this picture again. Cowboy Tony.
So
You know
I
what
need to
Tony?
work on that.
And here's Tony's reaction every time I show that picture.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a creepy
Uh,
picture. Huh.
it really is.
I'll
Not a
work on
handsome
getting
fella.
a friend. Yeah, I'll work on getting our friend to get a cowboy hat for his son, and we'll see what happens. Although,
There you
we did see Bang Bang Bart this past week. I mean, Clayton Clark this past weekend
go.
too,
Yes,
and that
the
match
sheriff
against
of Bang
Tanner
Bang
McKeeler.
Junction. Is that right?
Yeah, whatever. Shotgun
Oh,
City. I think it was Shotgun City, but we call him
okay.
Bang Bang Bart.
Right, and he seems to take exception to that. But
He
you
doesn't
have
like
to
it.
stir the pot. You got to stir the pot on everybody.
AJ
That poor
started it. It
Devin
wasn't my
Quinn
fault. He hates me.
picking on people. And we may be able to get him on the pod. I don't know,
We probably get hit.
but I digress.
We might talk to those guys. I'm sure there's a lot of them that wouldn't mind being on.
Sure,
I'd like to see us get Sam Knight on at some point.
that'd be cool. Damn right, Sam Knight,
Damn right,
King
Sam
of the
Knight.
House Knight.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let's get out of
well,
here, Mark. I'm
until
hungry and I'm
let's get out of
tired.
here. Yep, the wife is waiting on me for food. I think she made fajitas, so I got that to look forward to here. So well, if you're gonna watch the shootout tomorrow, we'll see you then. If not, we'll see you in 2 weeks for our big second anniversary episode. We're looking forward to it. So for Minderz, this is Reb. Thanks again to Ace Perry for joining us today. That was a lot of fun. And we're going to say goodbye and remind you all life is hard, work stiff, and we will see you next time.